Welcome to Church Jams Now, the podcast where three former youth group kids and current music nerds deep dive into Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. Guys, I did it right.
You did it!
I did it right.
So
I never get it right. I am, of course, your co-host, Kylan Savage. With me, as always, is Mr. TJ Smith.
What's up?
And our beautiful producer, Josh Olson.
Hey, guys.
Hush, stop talking. We have a guest. We have a guest this week,
That's
guys.
all you'll hear from me.
Everyone, silence. I'm about to be introduced.
I'm trying to be quiet.
And that voice that you heard, of course, if you read the description, which I don't know, I feel like there's always this weird, like when you're introducing a guest on a podcast of like, here's this big deal, but it's like, I don't know anyone that hasn't like read all about the podcast before they listen to it.
I think it's to help your guests sort of feel like,
oh, that's true. Okay, it's for your
co-hosts
benefit. I'm
usually
sorry.
clap and hype you up a little bit.
I just messed it up.
No, it's
well,
okay.
Guys,
Take two.
We have from New York an old friend of ours, a podcaster, a playwright from Spoke Media, the Untitled Dad Project, which, by the way, you have to check out. It's one of my favorite limited series podcasts of all time.
Phenomenal.
Our dear friend, Janielle Kastner. Hey.
Hi. I didn't know you listened to UDP.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I feel like I either told you right when I listened to it, or I probably just thought about it. But I listened. I waited till it was all over, and then I binged it all.
That means so much to me. So you know like a lot about my trauma and what the past 7 years have been like for me since we saw each other last.
I do. Yeah. Unfortunately,
In this parasocial world that we live in.
Oh, I love it. You hear people who talk about like people who are like very famous talk about how uncomfortable it is to have people walk up to you and know a lot about you, and I love it. It cuts to the chase so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of there's a Dolly Parton quote that says, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm some people's shot of whiskey.
Ooh, so good.
And I'm like, to have made a project that is like so deeply about like a very specific kind of trauma, and the only people who like endured through it are like my people. Like people who you can't keep listening unless you like love me or find a form of love for me as I go through this pit of grief. So anyone who comes up to me and tells me like, oh, I listened, there's a likelihood that they're only telling me that because they like me and they know a lot about me and have like an incredibly deep simpatico. It's like finding your soulmates. It's like putting the weirdest dating profile out there and a bunch of people swiping right, and you're like, oh, okay, well then this is for sure good odds.
That's why podcasting's so great, because it's like deeply vulnerable and connective, and also it's better whenever you get to actually talk to the person that you went through this major arc with. It's a little intimidating, honestly, too, to have somebody on like yourself, Janielle, who is a prestige podcaster. Like we're these like goofy conversation kind of podcasts.
We mangle
homies.
Facts all the time. We just
I heard about the fact mangling. I love a good fact mangle. I like 1 out of every 4 facts should be mangled.
We have you do like real podcasts. We do like
investigative journalists do real podcasting. I just like cried a lot in a booth
in front of the world.
Yeah, it didn't feel that way at the time. It didn't feel like I was doing it for the world until each episode released, and each episode was released anywhere from 6 months to 3 years since it had been recorded. And so I remember specifically there's one episode that is about daddy issues, and it has a lot to do with church and growing up in church and purity culture and men and being a woman in those contexts, especially like a woman without a father. And I had gone through a really bad breakup, and I was crying so hard about it. And people had the strongest reactions to me afterwards, and were like, are you okay, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I am. That was me. That was me so long ago.
Yeah.
And then, in fact, I actually remember we recorded that whole passage about this like breakup, and I was heartbroken, and then something had happened with our recording, and it hadn't recorded.
Oh no.
And so we had to go back, and I had to redo it. I had to like re-go through all of it, and that was the moment that was like, I think like the final stage of grief. They say like denial, like whatever, which is just
re-recording is the
re-recording is the final step
after acceptance.
And in the re-recording, I had this moment where I said, I am bored of hearing myself be sad about this.
Wow.
Like, I no longer find anything interesting about this sadness and about the ways in which I feel wronged. I was like, I'm boring myself as I'm being sad about this, and that was what did it for me. I was like a really healing moment.
Wow.
Maybe that's what acceptance is just getting bored with something, but it worked, man.
Maybe.
Podcasting healed me.
Sure.
That's so great. That's a beautiful story. So guys, we're going to talk about Superchick.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you were going to left turn like that. Thank you.
Beautifully done.
No. So yeah, Janielle, I want to know a little bit about your history with this kind of music. We won't get into Superchick specifically just yet, but you know, the whole idea of our podcast is essentially revisiting Christian music that we grew up on in the 90s and 2000s that most Christians just accepted it as good music because it's Christian. Everyone else sort of wrote it off because it's Christian. And then we're trying to go back and see if that nostalgia on our part, like see if it's any good.
See if it holds
So
up.
I'm really curious, like what your experience with like youth group culture and Christian music in the 90s and 2000s was.
Okay, so youth group culture just like was my culture.
Right.
I grew up going to the church it was Sunday morning church, Sunday evening, maybe like specialty prayer service, Monday night singles ministry, and choir practice.
Specifically non-denom, right?
Yeah, non-denom. So we like spoke in tongues, but there was like kind of like when I was really young, the like older school, like lady dancing in the aisle kind of like
Oh yeah.
vibe. And then there was like a significant rebrand around like the millennium, cooler carpet, like specifically painted everything to look like a Starbucks, and like kind of
Right.
politely asked the like
They
aisle
started
dancing
doing
lady to
lights
stop.
on stage.
Yeah,
lights.
it was like yes, very specifically like how can we try to be more like fellowship?
Right.
Which
Who
was a
had to
specific
ask the lady
megachurch.
to stop dancing? That's my
I
question.
don't know,
Whose job
but
was that?
that must have been devastating. She was like, she didn't stop like calling out, call and responding. So I was like, she stayed true to like
Yeah.
what was most important. She set her,
Good.
she set her
Good for her.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like every night of the week we were there. Church culture was my whole culture. It was just me and my mom, so it was like this is our whole community. So it's baked into me. And Christian music was like I would say a huge part of that, just in the way that it was like the water I was swimming in.
Yep.
Like
Right.
I didn't realize until recently, actually, I was helping my mom when she was sick. I was over at her place and I was in the bathroom setting something up, and in her bedroom she was listening to church on via Zoom, which is the thing that they all do now. And it was her new mega church that she loves. And the pastor, the way he was talking, the rhythm, the way he was talking with the rhythm, the way music came in when it came in, I just had this moment where I realized, oh, this is why I'm a writer. This is why I'm a podcaster. Like the rhythm, rhetorical rhythm of like, ask not what A can do for B, but maybe instead B should do for A. And you're like, whoa. And it's just chiasmus. It's just, you just reverse the words, but it gives you chills because of the way the rhythm and the rhetorical structure and the music, the way it all flows together. I'm like, well, of course, when I like, someone hands me audio, I can figure out how to edit it to make it like really good rhythmic storytelling. And I know exactly when the music should come in. Like, of course I do. It's in my bones every day of the week since I was an infant. So yeah, so it's just been soaked into me. And I wasn't like I didn't have any musical. I can't sing, which is a real problem because like I wanted to be in the ministry, and it was like, well, you have to marry a guy who wants to be a pastor, and then you have to sing if you're the woman, and you can be like the worship pastor. I specifically remember a guy who had said, you know, when I was like, oh, what do you ministry? He was like, oh, can you sing? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh. And I was like, oh, it can't be his wife.
That was like a red flag for him.
Yeah, a real red flag on the play.
Well, you always have children's ministry. If you can't
That's
sing, you
true!
have children's ministry.
That's such a good point, Kylan.
That's the second pastor's wife.
Yeah,
role.
you're totally right. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. I could have. I should go back.
You should.
I'll
should.
go
You
redo
should.
my life.
Yep. Just redo it all.
Redo it. Get in a
Yeah,
time
so
machine.
it was a lot of Christian music growing up just because that was like what was there, what I was interested in. It was like
Right.
also what I liked and thought was cool.
Right.
And then I wasn't like not allowed to listen to secular music unless it was like the 1 million moms had banded together. Like a thing about,
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all's Christian parents were like this, but it's not that all things are bad. It's that they're bad if they have power. Like no one would have cared about Harry Potter if it hadn't become like a global sensation, you know?
Right,
Like, no one
right,
cared about
yeah.
The Simpsons until like it became really popular. Like
Yeah.
Right.
Satan's not using things that no one's influenced by. So like once
Right,
enough
right.
people are influenced by it, it's like Tamagotchis are fine until all of our kids want them, and then like
Yeah.
maybe there's
And
that
you can't
fact.
and then you can't play Pokemon. But
Yeah,
You could play
so if it
Final
was-
Fantasy. Yeah. Exactly.
If it was under the radar enough, it was like fine. But I remember begging for like the first Britney Spears one, and that was fine. But then once it was like, oops, I did it again. It was like,
Oh,
Too much.
you're
Too
not
much.
doing it
It's too much.
again.
yeah, she's grown too big.
Nope. Can't have that, but you can have Stacey Orico.
Stacey Orico.
Yeah. Who else were you listening to?
Yeah.
What artists' albums were big for you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, Reliant K had a chokehold on me and my friends,
Of course.
which
For
is
sure.
like,
And
On
sing.
all of us.
which is
Yeah.
sort of like harming yourself if you're a woman. Like, I just
Yeah.
let them hurt me. I just let them be like, well, I'm not that kind of girl. I'm not the girl
Right.
that they're talking about.
Right. We all know the girls that they were talking about.
Yeah, and it wasn't me, Kylan. I'm not like them.
Yeah.
I'm not like other girls.
Can you show us your mood ring really quick just before we go further? So I can know
Got to see what color
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
what I'm working with here.
And then there was a lot of like, I loved Switchfoot. Who didn't? I was like loving U2. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like, yeah, of
They're
course.
the Christian. They're the other Christian. You too.
Yeah, deeply.
Yeah.
And
the
then-
other Christian YouTube.
And then when I got like into like more of my own music, there was like a brief moment where I was like really into like what was still Christian rock but felt a little more alt. Like, do you remember like FM Static? I met a girl named Tara.
She lived in the heart of America.
I loved that song. And then an important part of being like a girl in a youth group is apparently universal. It's hanging out with a bunch of guys who are too old for you, but are still hanging around a youth group. And so I very much so was influenced by like people who were like a pop culture generation above me, just like 3 or 4 years above me. And so that was when I got like really into Coldplay because I got them to like burn me CDs and they're all out
Oh,
of
yeah.
order. And I don't actually understand which songs on which album because they're all smushed on burnt CDs.
Which is the best way to experience a band sometimes. Like, because it
Smorgasbord?
trims the fat. Yeah. It's like, these are the ones you need to listen to. You don't need to worry about the rest of it. But I was going to say, Coldplay is definitely the gateway band into the
Yep.
secular
Yeah.
rock world.
For sure. For sure.
They're a gateway, man. Watch out for them.
Yeah.
Like
gotta
that
be
worship
careful.
sound, but
Yeah.
with a little bit more. Yeah.
But like, who are they
But
worshiping, you
alty.
know?
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the record that you picked today, right?
Yeah.
Danielle, what do you have for us to listen to?
Superchick. Isn't it? Wait, what album are we doing? Is it called Superchick or is it called One Girl Revolution?
I thought we were doing Regeneration.
Regeneration,
Great.
right?
Wait, is One Girl Revolution on Regeneration?
That's a good question. That Josh probably knows
There's
the
like a
answer to.
remix, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Regeneration
Okay.
is like a
Oh.
remix album. So
All the blood left my body. That song.
I
That
was like,
song.
we're gonna
means
research
so
on the
much to me.
fly. Okay.
What I'm picturing is the one with the microphone. As long as it's remixed, that's fine. In fact, I would rather like honor what Superchick decided was their last word on these songs. You know, I'm
Yeah,
super
I think
cozy. As long
Regeneration.
as-
I think we made the right call with Regeneration.
Yeah, it'll be a little different format because it's a remix, but it'll be fun.
So which album are we doing?
We're doing Superchick's remix album with all of their fantastic, fabulous greats, and it is called Regeneration.
Awesome.
So yeah, I want to hear about your experience with Superchick. Before that, I do need to mention that listeners may not know, but our patrons will probably know. On Patreon, our first concert episode has dropped. And TJ, what was your first concert, man?
My first concert was the One Girl Army themselves, Superchick.
No, TJ, really?
Heck yeah.
Truly.
I think One
They
Girl Army is
came-
5 Iron.
Oh, shoot. Dang it.
It's okay. It was still a good joke.
I
My
can't
first
believe
concert my first concert was Superchick, man. And yeah, I was like in 6th grade. I think they just dropped their first album and they were doing like a little church tour. And it
Wait,
blew
my
my mind.
church did those tours too. Was it like all the
Did
same
they come
circuit?
to your church? Yeah, probably.
No. God, they didn't. I would have lost my mind.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think y'all's churches were probably super far away from each other, right?
No, definitely not. Yeah, small town outside of Dallas, Texas.
Ugh,
So-
I was in the big city, Carrollton, Texas.
See, that
They
was your
probably did
problem.
Carrollton the night before. You guys probably saw them like within a day of each other. Honestly.
Amazing.
It was awesome. I was like, this is everything. I want to be you, especially with the megaphone and like the spiky blonde hair. That was the part that I most identified with.
But did you really want to be them? Like when you looked at them, did you think like they are rock stars and I want to feel the way that they feel?
In 6th grade, yes.
Oh.
100%.
What about now, TJ?
Yes, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Only more so.
Only more so. Yeah. The urge has only grown.
That is so amazing to me because my experience being like a young woman was that like my interiority was like completely unmined by the media around me. And so I was always looking at men and thinking like, oh, they're artists. Like, oh, look at their rich, vivid inner life. Like, oh, look at the way that they like feel deeply the way I feel deeply. And like, I was always listening to music by men, especially in the CCM world, who were having these big thoughts and feelings. And then like there were girls who were having thoughts, you know.
Yeah.
Usually about like purity and like the
Right.
kind of woman you're supposed to be, but like the really mining yourself for introspection and like wasn't so much the thing. And so the idea that like you saw this like girl band and was like, that's how I want to feel and like your interiority should be mine too is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Well, and
pretty
it was
cool.
just like it was dynamic. Like they had a lot going on. You know, they had like keys and guitar and bass, and like these were new concepts for me. And then here's this front woman just like laying it all down. And really, they were great performers from what I remember. So that like sparked something in me, you know, like I identified with it.
Yeah, they seem to they seem to occupy a very specific space within the sort of like 2000s Christian music scene. Like they were very big for like a very brief amount of time.
Yeah,
I
they were
feel
like
but
they were like the No Doubt for the church world, right?
Oh my
Ooh,
God, that's
good.
it.
That's it.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
I
there
was-
weren't many other ones that were female-fronted like rock groups.
Right.
No, I was trying to think about that because the whole point of CCM is usually that it's trying to copy what's like at least popular CCM. The people who were
Right.
like at the Christian label who were like inventing people next to the person who's next to the country person inventing.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
like
Yep.
if you think of all the offices where they're corporately farming music to
Yeah.
make a product off of. I was like, what's the one-to-one? Because the Stacey Rico, Rebecca St. James, I was like, well, that's Brittany, that's Christina, that's whatever.
Right.
And I was like,
Right.
what is Superchick? And they're No Doubt. You're so
Yeah,
right.
they are.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's good. That's so good. Well, we're done here.
All
was
done.
also-
did it.
Josh, tell us some facts about the band.
All right, let's get into Superchick. So they are a band originally from Chicago, Illinois. Their career spanned from 1999 to 2013, and then I guess they came back for a little bit in 2016. I don't know what that was about, but that's on Wikipedia. The members for this record and most of the band, which is pretty cool, is they're led by Trisha Brock, who does vocals the entire time. Their guitarist is Dave Gazarian, who is the lead guitarist. He's been in the band the entire time as well. Almost everyone has, which is cool. Matt
Nice.
Daly, who's been playing bass the entire time. Max Sue, who is credited as DJ and keyboards. He's been in the band the
DJ.
entire time. And then Melissa Brock, who I assume is Trisha's sister,
Yeah.
did rhythm guitar and harmony vocals, and she was in the band from 1999 to 2011 and 2016. So it was like only 2 years she wasn't in the band. So it's cool that it's like the whole lineup, basically the entire longevity of the band.
That
yeah,
is cool.
that does
Respect.
feel rare, specifically in like, you know, we were just talking about like a lot of these sort of, you know, like a lot of the female fronted groups were part of that sort of corporate machine. And just sort of like
Well, we talked about that in Evanescence, how like Amy was always there, but there was just band
Right.
members cycling in the
With the
background
cycling
because it was,
it
the
was always
Amy
just
show.
her.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like Superchick is like the band, which
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah. They're a
is
proper
really cool.
band. That is
Yeah.
exciting.
And all the boys in the band want a Valentine from a Barlow girl.
Barlow girl. It's true.
Yeah, we talked about on our first concert episode the whole Barlow girl, like the song and then the
The
Band.
Did
band.
they start the band? Did they like kick off the band or something?
I don't
know
remember.
which-
You're
we had
the
a whole
researcher,
thing.
They had
We
Josh,
had
to
a,
but I feel
first.
like
I think the song came first though.
Yeah, quit
I think the
Facts,
song came
Josh.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song came first.
I don't
But
think invented them.
I think it might have just been like a coincidence.
I kind of think the band existed, but it wasn't on anybody's radar except for Superchick. Like they knew
Right.
They
Barlow
wrote the
Girl
song and then
band.
Barlow Girl's like, we're gonna hit it big now. Like this is our chance.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We should
we're gonna
capitalize.
capitalize on it. Yeah,
That's what when I first heard it was I was in the like trolley at Camp Dry Gulch, which was our church kid camp for like, so I couldn't have been older than 6th grade because that was the cutoff. And I heard Barlow Girl, the song, and I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I love this. My body went feral. I was like, I have to know. So I asked the camp counselor, what is this? And the poor camp counselor has like heard the same CDs.
Right.
And was like, oh, she either said Superchick or Barlow Girl. And I didn't have a phone, you know? So
Right.
I'm
You just had to.
reflecting on this album, I realized what must have happened is I had to go back to my cabin, remember that, write it down in my journal, take it back a week later, and then look it up on our PC to find the album, and then ask my mom to take me to Mardell's to buy the CD. Like, that had to be the order of progression.
Kids these days got it so easy.
I know.
Kids these days.
So
But will they love anything as much as I loved it in that moment?
Right.
That
But
veracity stuck
so
with me.
like
Great
was
question.
this singular like Superchick Barlow Girl moment like the thing that primed most like youth group kids for like cinematic universes, like the way that Marvel does now? It's like, oh yeah, we're used to this. Like, we know that there's like all these reference points that you can
Follow all the
create
rabbit
a shared
trails
universe around different pieces of entertainment.
I remember shipping them. I was like, oh, I can't wait to find out which one of the boys in this band dates a Barlow girl. Or I guess it would have been like Quartz and marries a Barlow girl. Because I think the
Right,
Barlow
yeah,
girl
yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing was that they weren't going to date.
Right.
But they just happened to be really beautiful, which is always the thing. Fellas,
Goals.
you know how all the girls who say they're not going to date are the most beautiful girls in the youth group.
Right. And it's always like a bevy of sisters that can all harmonize super well.
Yes.
There's always
God,
that
you're
like
right.
one family. Yeah. Like,
You're right. It's not like, you know, the boys in the band want a Valentine from like Haley and Hannah Barlow. It's like the Barlow girls
Right,
trademark.
right.
All of the girls belonging to the patriarch
Yeah,
of Mr.
please.
Barlow.
yeah, Mr.
Pluralize their individual experience and erase their individuality.
Thank you for ruining this for me. But yeah. And I remember
do.
thinking like, wow, what makes a Barlow girl so special that like these boys want to be with her? Like, what's so desirable? And what's desirable is like their purity and how like smart and cool they are and how they're not going to hook up with them. And I don't know, it just fed into my little fantasy.
Hey,
My
man.
little purity culture fantasy.
I mean, this is a little bit of a hot take, but you know, maybe we all get off on withholding a little bit.
Oh,
call
yes.
back TJ.
I don't know much about Superchick. Like I know of them. And if you played me a Superchick song, I could probably be like, yeah, that's Superchick. But like
You can't name one.
I mean,
off the top of your
besides
head.
like Barlow Girl.
The ones we've talked about, yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So I'm not super familiar. So I'm excited to like get into this album, but I want to know the rest of y'all. Like, what's your experience with this album in particular?
Okay, before you jump in, Kylan, the words One Girl Revolution do not ring a bell?
No, like it does, but it's like
Okay.
it's in the same way of like, I don't know, like when I think of Superchick, I think of the mall. Like I think of like hearing like I
No, I
can't
get
think
it.
of a specific like melody. I can't think of like any specific like instrumentation or a specific song or moment. But I hear this like vague sound like you would hear in like a food court or in like a Forever 21. Like I've heard these songs a bunch of times, and I guarantee you, like when we get into the album, I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I know this. Oh yeah, I know this." Somehow I know all the words to this. I can barely remember my daughter's birthday, but I know all the words to this song that I don't remember the name of. But it's all very like nebulous. Like I don't know specifics.
Basically, you're saying Superchick is the official band of Sparrow? Is that what you're
Yes.
telling me?
Yes.
Got it.
Claire's.
episode.
If anything,
Yeah,
Claire's.
Claire's.
It's not Sparrow. Okay,
100%.
Kylan, I have an image for you. For
Okay.
you.
Okay.
You're looking at a screen. It's outdoors. You're seeing on the screen. It's trees. You hear a whistle blow.
Thank you.
You see a blonde head
I was
come
waiting
onto
for
the
this.
screen. You see a gun go in the air. You see the gun spin around and whip around. Who is this blonde girl who's so proficient with armed goods? Oh, she turns. It's Hilary Duff. The credits roll. You are watching Cadet Kelly on the Disney Channel.
Don't forget Kelly Carlson Romano. She was.
Oh my God!
She was
How
blowing
could
things
I?
up on that movie.
Wait, so Superchick they had a song in that?
Yes.
In that-
They were that movie.
Whoa.
They were that movie.
Oh
One
my
Girl
God, I
Revolution
don't
is
remember
like-
that. That is
Yes.
awesome. Okay, so we're totally covering the whole movie Cadet Kelly for a future episode, right? I'm here for
Part
it.
it's part of the Barlow Girl cinematic universe, obviously.
I'm
100%.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, I'm so here for it.
That was
so good.
It was so cool. It was like they've gone mainstream. Like they are cool.
If they're
Like,
recognized by Disney, I mean,
and more
Right.
importantly, Hilary Duff, the pinnacle
Oh, yeah,
of
yeah.
like all things, the excellence in girlhood.
I mean, this is like
So that's mine.
right. She wasn't still doing like Lizzie McGuire like just finished.
Yes,
I think,
and now
right?
she was
like
being
when
a
Cadet,
movie star.
yeah, exactly. Oh man, yeah,
true.
that's like such a very specific time in my life. Cadet Kelly, the Lizzie McGuire movie, all those Disney Channel original movies. Guys, I might want to just spin this off and just do a Disney Channel original movie podcast.
You know,
Talk
that's
about Don't Look Under the Bed,
'cause you've never
Smart
said
House,
anything like that
Can
before.
of Worms, Luck of the Irish.
Oh, oh wait, it's probably awful. The one that's about fat camp.
Heavyweights.
There's no way
100%
looking
it's
back
awful.
that's not child abuse. Oh God, I remembered it being so good at the time, but I was like 8. Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Judd Apatow wrote that, by the way.
Oh
Yeah.
I bet it's what he's most proud of in his career.
Truly.
Josh, you're the only person who I don't know what their feelings about Superchick is. If you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and just host this podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please,
take
please.
over.
That's fine. We don't know what
Josh,
we're doing.
if you don't mind telling me your first exposure or feelings
Wait,
about Superchick, that'd
Josh,
be great.
first,
Yeah,
before you do that, Kylan hasn't had a chance to quit yet. So, Kylan, you're fired. You don't get to quit this episode.
That's fine. I don't get to quit.
Danielle,
Okay.
you're hired.
Amazing.
Well,
Thanks, guys.
You're host officially.
Yeah.
I mostly
Forward
quit every
progressions.
episode, but I'm fine with being fired.
I just
get
wanted
an
to
point?
say first, Danielle, thanks. It's an honor being on your podcast. And thanks for asking me that.
It's so
great
good to
question.
have you, Josh.
Yeah,
Thanks so
thanks.
much.
I have a lot to say about Superchick. And the fact that I don't have very much to say about Superchick. It's just very like a
Perfect.
Cool.
nebulous thing. Like
That's
Kyle
what
was
we
saying,
wanted.
like I'm sure I know some songs because I'm sure I heard them on like 89.7 Power FM. But like, yeah, there you go. Core memory unlocked.
89.7 Power FM. Was their slogan "Life's too short to go through it without the power"? No, that was the Power Team. Do you remember the Power Team?
Oh my god.
I do remember the Power Team.
They baptized me.
Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna have to have you back because this is a whole thing we can't get into. But we're gonna have to
talk
like
about
deep
this
dive into
sometime.
this.
Okay, I won't deep dive. I just want you to remember that I remember my entire head fit in the palm of one of the guy's hands.
Oh my god.
And I was like 10. I wasn't a baby. He just dipped my tiny head with his giant hand in the baptism, and I was like, I guess I'm saved now. Thanks, Power Team. Anyway, carry on, Josh.
Well, that's way better than whatever Josh was gonna say.
Oh, that is way
Hands
better.
down.
Yeah. Other than, I mean, wow, Power from to Power Team. What a jump. That was great.
Yeah.
Good
We're hitting
job.
everything. I can't follow that. So all I'm going to say is I'm sure I know some songs, but like nothing really comes to mind. So I'm really going in with kind of nothing here. It'll be interesting to see what there is, what we encounter on this record, which I just want to talk about. Can I do a little bit of facts on the album itself that we're covering?
Let's hear it.
Regeneration.
Fine.
It'll be
I'd
real
love to
fast.
hear.
I have some interesting things.
Okay.
So Regeneration is a remix album, which is new for us. We've never done that before, but it's cool.
That's true.
So we'll get a little bit. This was their third album, so it came out after their first, if you want to count it as like a traditional album. So everything that they're pulling from is going to be from their first two albums. TJ mentioned that the first album isn't on Spotify, strangely.
Yep.
It was produced by their DJ keyboardist Max Sue, who played in the 90s band Church of Rhythm along with Dave Kazarian. So they kind of been around the scene for a little while. Something I found interesting was in the songwriting credits is they kind of differ based on the song, but most of them are Max and Dave, including One Girl Revolution.
What?
Trisha does not have a writing credit on One Girl Revolution, which I
Those
thought.
two
That
men
is
were
really
writing
funny.
my female interiority.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were.
Just
And-
pretend like
every-
you didn't hear that.
Every curtain you pull back is just another tiny trauma. Older you get, I'm gonna stop
That's
pulling
true.
curtains.
Or I think it speaks to at every writing credit, or Max has a writing credit on every song, so he seems to be like the musical maestro of the band, like the main musical force happening of the band. So it's kind of cool that he did the remix album too. So, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like, oh, Trisha doesn't have writing credits on that one. She does have writing credits on 4 of the songs on this record: Me Against the World, I Belong to You, One and Lonely, and Hero. But yeah, it'll be interesting going in knowing like Max and Dave are like the main songwriters here, but Melissa even has a couple other songwriting credits too, though. So they
That's
get
cool.
everyone involved, but those two seem to be, I guess, the veteran musicians since they were in the '90s band, that Church
Yeah.
of Rhythm band, that they're like, we know how to do songs.
We know how to do songs.
Is the story kind of like Max and Dave were already a band, and then like they were walking down the road, or they were at church one day, and they heard Trisha sing? Like, did like they kind of like recruit? Do we know anything about their relationships? Were they all in love?
I don't know that.
Probably.
I don't know. Maybe their band ended and then they had some other friends, or maybe they just heard her voice one day and they're like, I have to find that person and put her in our band.
That's the story. That's the story. Let's stick with that.
There you
That's
go.
it.
I love that.
Mhm.
Well, speaking
I like
of
that.
ruining childhoods and recruiting, Cadet Kelly was written by a man named Michael Walsh.
Great. And it was probably like funded by the U.S. Army.
Totally.
If we pulled that curtain back,
Probably.
it's going to be U.S. imperialism. We'll just like,
For sure. For sure.
It really boosted the recruitment numbers. It was the Top Gun of the
Top Gun.
90s,
Yeah, it was the
of
Top
the
Gun
2000s.
Of preteen girls in the early 2000s. Yeah.
They were really trying to get me. Wait, wasn't she a rhythmic gymnast first?
Yes.
And then the skills translated, and it was like grace and beauty is in everything, even in like the machine of war.
I think so, but we'll get into it whenever we do our Cadet Kelly deep dive, which we'll definitely have you
Kelly.
back for.
Thanks
We're gonna
so
do it. We're
much.
gonna do a 6-part miniseries.
Kylan, can the sequel to that be
It's-
your miniseries on Legally Blonde 2, Red, White, and Blonde? Because
course.
Me Against the World on this album was in that movie.
Oh dang!
Tying it
Cinematic
all
universe,
together.
y'all. Well, guys, I think that's gonna be it for part A. So we're gonna take a
Other
break.
than
What?
we need to flop and bop.
Oh shoot, you're right.
We haven't done that in a while, but we need
We
to.
haven't.
We
We
need to.
just so John. A little bit of backstory. So usually we give our predictions if we're gonna flop or bop a record, but we just got done with a 5-part miniseries of a band that we all super love. So we kind of got
What
rid
band?
of As Cities Burn. So that's
Oh.
coming out right now. So we didn't do flop or bops because they were all gonna be bops.
So
we kind of forgot
you
how
get
to
to
do
be
it.
part of the first flop or bop predictions of 2023.
First flop or bop.
You guys have made me
2023.
feel so special on this podcast. I
Good,
can't
good.
tell you.
That's our real goal, honestly.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you so much. I really feel like you're making me the front man.
so the whole idea, so everyone I feel like has different flop or bop criteria. Like what makes a record, listening to it in 2023, is it gonna flop, is it gonna bop? Like, you know, like for me, one part of my criteria is, am I gonna find myself listening to at least the majority of this album again at some point in the next year, you know? Or it could be about lyrical content or pure nostalgia. But where do you feel, before we get to that, when was the last time you listened to this record
Oh my God.
as a whole?
As a whole, would have been on my silver boombox in my bathroom, maybe in Bedford, Texas. So that would have been in 8th grade. I do not remember playing Superchick when we moved to Frisco, which would have been
Okay.
my bathroom in 9th grade. So I think this was 8th grade, which for me would have
wow.
been the year of our Lord. I don't know. I
I love
graduated
how
in
specific this is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
for 2003. I would have been 13 years old.
Okay.
I want to
Oh
say,
my God, you guys, my 33rd birthday is tomorrow. I'm going to listen to it at the stroke of midnight, and it's going to be at my 10-year.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
My centennial, listen.
Oh, that's so good.
I love that.
Perfect timing.
Also,
It is perfect timing.
I think this is the first time somebody's mentioned listening to a record like in their bathroom on
Yeah.
Oh
this
yeah,
show.
while you're getting ready. While I was straightening my hair with my flat iron.
That makes sense. Well, we haven't
Killing
had
So-
a lot of that specific sort of like feminine energy on the show. So
Hey, I straighten my hair and listen to music a lot.
well,
okay.
you've never brought it up. We've done like 40
We haven't
episodes
covered
of this
any of the
thing, and you
records that
That's
I
on
listen to
you.
while I straighten
Did
my
my
hair.
makeup.
Okay?
Okay.
At a certain point,
Okay.
I'm sure I'll mention it.
All right.
Oh yeah, it was pivotal. It was like your main character moment. It's a montage, and the
Right,
music is
yeah,
playing
yeah.
behind you while you're like putting on your eyeliner. And there's no
For sure.
phones yet.
Yeah.
Really,
Right.
there's a flip phone, so you can't like. This is all you're doing. You're in
Yeah.
your own little movie.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
wearing silver pants. I distinctly remember.
So Janielle, would you like to have the honors of giving our first flop or bop prediction for the year on
Absolutely,
this record?
absolutely. There is no way this isn't a bop.
Really?
I can
okay.
feel it
All right.
I can
You're very
feel it.
confident.
in
Yeah.
the deepest part of my bones that this could not have meant what it meant to me, and could not have meant enough to the music supervisors of Red, White, and Blonde, and been that bad. It has
Right.
to
Okay.
have
Nailed
it
it.
has to have some deep resonance. And I don't know if the producing is gonna be amazing. I don't know if like the chord progressions and you
cares?
guys can tell me, but I think that the core storytelling and the core like cohesive, overwhelming, transcendent vibe will still transcendently vibe me. And I believe and I have faith.
Yes. Here for
All
that.
right.
Love to
I
hear
love that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great way
TJ,
to
what
start
about
off
you?
the year.
Well, I like what you said, Janielle, about the transcendent vibe, transcendently vibing. Was that? Did I get that
Yeah.
right? Because I think this one is going to be completely, sorry, my mind just went blank. What's the word whenever it's like emotionally resonant?
Rad as
Cathartic?
hell.
What was it?
Cathartic?
Rad as hell, cathartic. What did you say, Josh?
I didn't say anything.
All right, rad as hell. I don't even know.
Resonant?
Cathartic. It's going to be all of those things. This is going to be a
Okay.
nostalgia bop for me, 100%.
Nostalgia bop for you.
Nostalgia
Okay.
bop.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Josh, what about you, buddy?
Okay, I am going to be the contrarian here, only because this is a remix album. Because
Right.
I'm not big on
Oh.
remixes. Whenever like there'd be like a under oath special edition disambiguation, surprise, it's 3 remix tracks. I'm like,
Remixes.
I don't care about a remix track, man. Like even for my favorite band for remix albums, I don't care. So if this is another Superchick record, probably a bop. But remix, I'll go in with the flop. But we'll
Wow.
see if I can be swayed.
Josh
Wow.
Josh is shaking my
I'm just saying. I'm not
faith of a
saying about
mustard seed.
the heart of like the songs. The heart of the songs will probably be great. I just am not a big remix guy.
Remix. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, you of all people should know, you were my roommate in college
Oh man.
when I was going
No,
through
this
my
is
very
going.
specific DJ phase. And we would use your bass amp as a subwoofer and turn off all the lights. And I bought a strobe light from Walmart, and we would just dance our asses off.
What was your DJ handle, Kyle?
Oh no.
Thank you, TJ.
You're welcome.
I thought it would be really
what was
funny
his
to
DJ
do.
handle?
DJ K Rock Dial.
Oh, that is
Was it
cute.
RAWK?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
I would have let you DJ my birthday party.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I
Yeah.
DJ'd
K-Rock-a-dial.
Tavner and Andy's wedding, so like,
That was
Yeah.
that was a great wedding.
yeah. DJ K, yeah, because it's like, let me explain it for all the folks that haven't caught up. Crocodile. My name starts with a K.
Oh.
Got
Just
it.
like
Yeah, this is gonna be a
does.
Stone Cold bop, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna be dancing
Cool.
my ass off all week listening to this.
Awesome.
I don't think the songs are gonna have any substance, personally.
don't
But
have
I don't
to.
know. I don't know. but
Thank you.
they're gonna be super fun.
Josh, what year did this come out? Again?
2003.
03.
Okay, what was happening in 2003? Because now I'm
October
worried that they're going to
21st.
add like a underneath all of these beloved songs from my childhood.
Very well could be.
What was 2003's vibe? Synthy? No.
Very. Yeah.
Very synthy? Okay.
Yeah.
This was like,
think it's
I
like-
still feel your voice when it. That was like that.
Yeah.
That's 2003, right?
Yeah, there's gonna be some break
Oh,
beats.
no.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
No. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
no, you're
well,
gonna love it. We're gonna have a great time.
Fear not.
Okay.
It's going to be
Let's
awesome.
find out.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we will pull a Stephen Curtis Chapman and dive into 2003's Regeneration by Superchick.
Regeneration.
Okay, jammers, Kylan here. I'm interrupting the episode to tell you some super exciting news. Church Jams Now has our first official sponsor.
Hey.
Yeah.
You know, this is a business that we have all supported long before this partnership, and we're super flippin' excited.
Guys, it's Collide Records.
Collide Records. Oh,
Would you like to hear more about them?
Please, Josh,
I
tell us the
would.
facts. Tell us the
tell
cold,
us
hard
all
facts.
about Collide.
I would absolutely love to. Okay, so Collide Records was founded in 2011 to share music that's relevant to faith and life. The best part is they have so much of the music that we talk about here on the show, but it's not limited to that. Like they have like the new Taylor Swift album is on there. They got like the new Paramore record. Everything you listen to is probably there.
Yeah, Imploding the Mirage, The Killers, incredible record. They got it. Go get it.
It's like one of the coolest places that I've seen to like buy vinyl and CDs. You know, as a podcast that specifically talks about 90s and 2000s music, you know, I feel like we've got a particular love for CDs, and there's not a lot of places online that you can get CDs, and so I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, and look, I get that cassettes are sexy these days, but like CDs, the audio quality is gonna hold fast a little longer. So just consider that, listeners.
They have a treasure trove of CDs on there. Let me tell you, that's how I first actually found them. If you remember, we actually talked about them on our Two Lefts episode with Sadie Hawkins Pod. They got a shout out on the episode from Sadie Hawkins Pod first, actually. I'd gone to their site because I'd found this Reliant K live CD, which is I'd like never seen before anywhere, and they had it in stock. And then I went to their site. I was just gonna buy the one, and then I like found like 3 other like super rare, hard to find CDs for great prices, and I like literally I bought 4. I meant to buy one, and I bought 4 different CDs. So like I'm genuinely happy to support them and to promote them, but at the same time, like I'm a little bummed that like my secret place to find like CDs at a great price and kind of rare stuff is like out now.
Hey man,
Right,
share
right.
the love, right?
I know.
We all hate like the bargain bin crawl where you're just like flipping through CDs, flipping through records to find that one that you are searching for, and you just like leave the store disappointed, right? So skip the commute, skip going to the record store and digging through the crate. I know it's fun. So check out Collide Records. Go to colliderecords.com and use our exceptional, unique promo code Church Jams Now. That's Church Jams Now.
Church
all
Jams
one
Now.
word, lowercase. For 20% off, you guys. 20% off your first purchase. Check it out.
That is a great
That's
deal.
an
I mean,
amazing
that's a
deal.
deal that I'm like literally using right now.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
I got distracted during the ad because I'm looking at their website and I want to get the Phoebe Bridgers record and Charlie
Ooh,
Brown
yes.
Christmas.
Oh, man.
It's not even close to Christmas time, but
But you still want it.
Preparing for
Yeah.
this next year, you know.
exactly.
Oh, and the Vince Guaraldi is a peppermint vinyl? Come on.
so good.
Get out of
So
here.
good. All right, guys, go check out colliderecords.com. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the show. Hey, Jammers, we're going to interrupt your listening to talk about our Patreon a little bit because, you know, it's 2023, new year, new bit. And our biggest bit has been restructuring our Patreon. We're super excited. And just like the last Patreon ad, the other guys are here. I don't know why they're being weirdly silent.
Sorry. I was updating Patreon bots firmware.
Oh, why? Why?
I was a little busy.
Is
Well,
it because of
because
the trivia night?
Yeah, because of trivia, like we need, hard and fast factual data to be ready to give the answers. for trivia.
Processing power needs to be on point.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
lot of
the
work.
whole thing is, so we're offering for our patrons a trivia night 4 times a year. We're going to do it quarterly. I don't know if I'm super comfortable with the fact that like Patreon bot will probably win because the winner is going to get like cool stuff.
No, he can't compete. He has to give the answers. He's
Oh my God.
yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, man. I talked to him about this.
You did? What did he say?
He shut down for a while because he was very awkward, and that's what he does whenever he can't deal with like an awkward social situation.
Yeah, he
But
does
then when he
have
came back
social
online,
anxiety.
Yeah, he does. But when he came back online, he said he totally understood, and he's happy to help. Do you want me to go get him? Like I can
Please,
find him if
please,
you-
please. Can you
Okay.
go get him for
Hey,
me?
Patreon bot, come here. Sorry, his operating system is still uploading. So
yeah,
give me.
no, he's got kind of a different vibe than he used to have.
For that new year, new firmware.
Greetings.
New year, new
Greetings.
firmware.
Greetings, user Kylan and
Wow.
user Josh.
Oh my gosh,
Wow,
Patreon
okay.
bot, did you update your language program?
Yes, I am vaguely European now.
Yeah, you sound a little Irish.
Vaguely European.
No, I am more Scandinavian.
Okay. Well, how do you feel about our trivia night that we have coming up on March 15th?
I'm very excited about trivia night.
What can you tell us about the trivia night?
I can tell you that the answer is 3.145672891.
Okay, well, I can guarantee that that's
14.
not an answer to any of the trivia questions, but
Well, sorry guys, sorry. I gotta do some more reprogramming for Patreon bot before he's ready for trivia night. I am so sorry.
I think so,
Clearly,
man.
he's got some issues.
But guys, we have so many things to offer on our Patreon coming up this year. For just $2 a month, you get the show early and you get our monthly WCJN show where we talk about things that haven't quite made it on the full show. Josh did an episode on a very Jason Martin Christmas, and I did a sweet bass roundup of some of the sweetest bass that we have covered thus far on the show, and kind of diving into why I love sweet bass. Yeah, we have our trivia night coming up. It's a live Zoom event that we're gonna do. Anyone that's a patron can come and hang out and play some fun trivia with us. Patreon bot may or may not be there. We don't know yet. If we get his firmware updated in time.
Yeah.
Depends on the updates.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah, so check us out at patreon.com/churchjamsnowpodcast. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Josh is yawning, so I think that's the end of the ad.
It's good. Sorry.
Welcome back to Church Jams Now.
Kylan, you're the superest chick.
Thanks. You're a super dude.
No, I want to be a super chick.
Fine, you can be a super chick too. Guys, we've spent some time listening to Superchick.
We sure have.
Are we excited? We still have our guest.
Yeah.
I mean, for us, it's been a week. For the
Somehow
listener,
we've
it's been like 30 seconds. So,
keep our
Yeah.
guest all
So-
this time.
yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't have as big of an introduction this time. We're trying to somewhat keep the illusion
Oh,
That it's
right.
immediate.
that
Right.
we've...
We just
yeah.
like went up, got up, used the restroom, like got a
Sure.
drink.
Yeah,
came back.
exactly. We just took a
Right.
Listen to a
short
whole
little break.
album in 30 seconds.
Okay.
and
Well, in that short
made
break,
notes.
I turned 33,
Yeah, happy birthday.
and I
Happy
listened
birthday.
to the songs I haven't heard in 20 years. Last time we talked, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, it's 10 years," because in my head, I'm turning 23, but I'm not. I'm turning 33, and my 13-year-old self loved this album. So 20 years have passed.
20 years.
Crazy.
They make you feel old.
So old.
I know.
Yeah, 13
Experienced. Wise.
had tastes.
Yes.
Tastes. Yeah.
Of some kind.
Well, guys, so normally at this point, we go through the album track by track, but before we do that, I completely forgot to do the game in part A, but I have a very fun game for us to play. If we want to, kick off this part B by doing something a little silly, I feel like it's appropriate given the band.
Yeah, feels right.
Cool.
Let's do it.
We want to play a game? We all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So all three of you guys are playing. Although I will ask TJ if you could answer last on
Okay.
every question, simply because I think you
love how
might have a
specific
slight
this is.
advantage
All
on
right.
this. So the game, Janielle, the game this week is called Superchic. So has nothing to do with Superchick except for the name. I found a bunch of quotes, and 5. We're doing 5 questions. And the quote is either from a superhero movie or a famous fashion designer. And so this is why I asked TJ to go last, because he's obsessed with fashion designers.
Obviously.
So he's
I
going to
can
know all
tell.
these.
Yes.
I am the most fashionista of the four of us, clearly.
It's
What
very
do I
true.
get if I win?
We say yay and then move on.
You can talk about.
we'll-
You can say the first note on every song that we talk about. For
There you
this
go.
Episode.
Okay.
In your imagination, you can picture like a tiny gold chick, like a small chicken,
She's got the megaphone.
Super
oh,
chick.
Oh!
chick, not
but
the.
it'll have like a pantsuit on that's
The chicken
like
has the megaphone.
a floral pattern or something.
TJ,
Super
that's so
chic.
beautiful.
That's in your mind. Just we can't afford it on our budget to actually make this
but
trophy for you.
we can pretend. All right, guys, here we go. Question 1 on Superchic. I have a fantastic relationship with money. It buys my freedom. Is that Bruce Wayne or Gianni Versace?
I think it's Versace.
Okay.
Because Bruce Wayne is always like a little not aware of his own privilege.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'll say Versace too.
All right, Justin. And TJ, what
But
about you?
not for as intelligent of an answer, for reasoning at least.
Just to be contrarian, I'm gonna go Batman.
Okay. So, guys, that was Gianni Versace.
Ah,
Good job,
Yeah.
y'all.
1 point for each of
See, I don't
y'all.
have an edge. I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm doing.
one step closer to the little chick
You're,
in my
you're
mind.
just
Little chick in your
conning us,
brain.
TJ. This is all a con.
I could
All
be
right,
sharking
here we
you.
go. Question
That's
number
true.
2. Apparently, I'm volatile, self-obsessed, and don't play well with others. Is that Tony Stark, a.k.a. Iron Man, or Giorgio Armani?
I think it's Tony Stark because he's
Okay.
always has like a little like self-effacing little bitch kind of dialogue, you know?
So did Armani.
That's famously. Everyone knows that.
I'll go Tony Stark too.
Okay.
Yeah, man, that is specifically RDJ Tony Stark.
All right, you guys all got that right.
We're just
That
so
was,
good.
of course, Tony Stark.
It
I
sounded
know.
slightly familiar, and I don't know any Armani quotes, so
So you're like
Does
that.
anybody?
that's what I was going off of.
Okay, here we go. Question number 3. It is unforgivable to do what one doesn't love, especially if one succeeds. Is that Christian Dior or Lex Luthor?
That's whoever it is. They're incoherent. Say it again.
It is unforgivable to do what one doesn't love, especially if one succeeds.
Oh, okay. It's unforgivable to do what you don't love, especially if you.
Especially if you succeed.
right.
That feels like a bad villain dialogue, so I'm gonna go with Lex Luthor. Is it from like
Lex Luthor?
Smallville?
Ooh, that would be
Maybe.
a great Smallville monologue.
Maybe.
Dang.
Josh?
I was thinking like Luther, but I'm gonna go opposite. What was the other one? Was it Dior? you
Christian
said?
Dior.
I'll go Dior.
Okay.
Split it.
Dior, bien sûr. That's Dior.
TJ, are you saying that as your answer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Janielle, unfortunately, you got that. wrong. That was Christian Dior.
I could feel it when Josh answered it that the little chick went to him in his mind. I felt it leave my mind and go to his.
I gotta say though, like I was like, oh, this is obviously a fashion designer, but when you said Lex Luthor, I'm like, oh, it could be Lex
Exactly.
Luthor. Like,
Right?
that was a good. That
I
was a
don't feel
good
like
throw.
he's someone
Yeah.
with very good dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right, guys. Question number 4. A girl should be 2 things: classy and fabulous. Is that Coco Chanel or Supergirl?
That is Coco Chanel. That is like that. I know that's Coco Chanel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
same.
that feels fundamentally
I feel like that's
fashion
like
Yeah.
designer.
No, you guys are right.
printed
That was
on
all.
a trapper
that was all
keeper.
Chanel.
Yeah.
Yep. Some Lisa Frank energy right there.
Uh-huh. All right, guys. Here's the last question. Question number 5 in our super chic game.
Super chic.
If you're nothing without that suit, then you shouldn't have it. Is that Tony Stark once again or Tom Ford?
I feel like
so
it's
good.
Edna Mode from The Incredibles.
It could be.
It
Oh,
could be.
yeah.
Who,
But
If
it's
you're
not.
nothing-
It's one of these two. It's Tony
Like-
or Tom.
He
She's
threads
both.
the
Yeah,
needle
she kind of
of,
is.
of super chic.
Superhero
Yeah,
fashionista.
for
yeah.
sure.
It feels a little like something you would say and then you would sachet away.
Mm.
Right.
So
Which is
I'm
kind of
gonna-
Tom Ford's whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with
true.
Tom. But Tony Stark is the most sachet of the. I'm gonna go with Tom Ford.
Okay.
I'll go Tony Stark.
Okay. TJ?
Starkey, baby.
All right, guys. So, our last quote, if you're nothing without that suit, then you shouldn't have it, is from Tony Stark.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Johnny.
Wait, so is it a tie between Josh and TJ? It's okay.
Well, let me see.
I feel like I had the
I
best
forgot to
spirit
count up points.
of all
Hold
the
on.
competitors.
1, 2.
Classic Kylan.
Yeah, I think Josh won.
I am the super chic.
Yeah,
Go,
Josh did win. Yeah,
Hey,
Josh got
Danielle, if you
Yeah.
want, I'll team up with you and we can gang up on Josh and steal the
And steal-
entirely hypothetical super chic trophy.
I
Out of
think
his mind.
a
I'll
mind
give it to you
heist.
because
Yep.
it's your birthday.
Oh,
Aw,
thanks.
it's-
I'll just.
All right, so our winner of Super Chic is Janielle Kastner.
Yay! I don't mind pandering once in a while.
Plus, it's all made up. It doesn't matter. We all win, you know?
We all win.
Kylan will make you a beautiful 3D rendering of
I
that
can do
in
that.
4K.
That
It'll
would mean
take
a lot
4
to me.
days, but
It
you
will,
can
it
do
will
it.
take. Yeah.
Worth it. Worth
Will-
every minute of your time.
All right, I will. I will do it. Here's the thing that you may not understand is that I will commit to a bit, especially when it comes to like designing something.
And especially when it makes no sense.
Yeah.
The less sense it makes, the more motivated he is to do it.
Okay, guys, let's get into it. Enough
Let's.
playing around. We're done playing. We're done with the silly fun times. We're getting super serious.
So serious.
No more games. It's time to start a round.
No
more
bits,
games,
y'all.
No more
No
bits.
bits.
Are we ready to jump into this album, Regeneration?
Yes.
Okay. So, starting off with track number 1, One Girl Revolution, the Battle Mix.
Out there in the skies, I'm just your average Jane. The super doesn't stand for model, but that doesn't mean I'm plain. If all you see is how I look, you miss a super chick within. And I christen you Titanic, underestimate and swim.
Danielle, I do want to hear from you first of just like,
We're going to listen to it together?
Yeah, we're gonna. It's just gonna
That's
play
the
in the
whole
background
thing,
while we
baby.
talk about it. Yeah.
You'll miss the Supergirl. Oh, I missed it. Wait. I already missed it. Underestimate and swim.
Get it.
I was walking down the streets of New York and I was jamming. I was walking to a plant shop and I was like, this plant shop's going to save the world.
All the money.
I am a voice
world
just
to see
waiting
that.
to be heard. It was
That's
lovely.
the opening credits of like your CW show.
It
Is you walking down
absolutely
the streets
is.
of
Oh
New
my-
York
okay.
with this.
And then at the end, I get hit by a car because I'm listening to my headphones, not paying attention to traffic. And then that
Perfect.
starts my whole, like, I don't know
Your
what it
whole
is. I get
arc.
like some sort of superpower in the
Yeah,
hospital.
it's your superhero
Well,
arc.
I was saying it's sort of like if The Hustle with Rebel Wilson was made
Oh.
in 2003. Like that's
Yeah.
what this song made me think of. But I like the superhero angle too. That's
I declare my independence from the critics and their stones. I will find my revolution. I will learn to stand alone. Okay, when I heard that line, I thought, that's the role I'm going to play on that podcast this next week. Which
Yeah.
is, I was like, I can tell, they're not going to like this. They're not going to enjoy this album. However, I will declare my independence from the critics and the
Hey.
stones. I will
Why?
find my revolution. I
Why
will learn to
wouldn't
stand
we?
alone.
you don't
No,
know.
I can
Yes.
guarantee you that TJ didn't love it, but I can also guarantee you that I fucking loved this album.
Did you really, Kyle?
Oh,
Hey.
unironically, wholeheartedly.
What?
I
Just
know
wait,
I'm
Kyle.
like
Just
I'm
Oh,
wait.
I'm
so normally
so happy.
we wait
You made
until
it-
the
you made an
end
assumption, and you're gonna
to
pay for that
say
later.
yeah, for real.
Did.
Okay, because I know we usually wait to the very end to say our flop or bop final verdicts.
Yeah, wow.
But
this-
I think you
breaking the
guys
rules,
know.
man.
Here's something about me. I have this as a note on another song. Some of y'all are probably aware, but I unironically fucking love the 2002 movie Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh my God! Yes, yes. Song number 2, "Get Up," sounded like Fountains of Wayne, didn't it?
Yes, I've got
Oh.
Josie and the Pussycats are all over my notes. That's what this reminds me of.
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
am here for this like early 2000s party production.
The
Yeah.
scritchy scratchies, like they
Yes,
love a
I love
scritchy
it.
scratchy,
Well,
and then like the
okay.
dirty guitar.
Yep,
Yep.
it's so good.
Also, in part A, I think I mentioned that Me Against the World is in Legally Blonde 2. What
Mhm.
I did not realize at the time that I now know is that this song is in Legally Blonde.
oh,
Is it
is?
really?
They
Okay,
have
I found out.
back-to-back syncs.
I
Yeah.
found out that 2 of their songs was on the Mary Kate and Ashley film "Holiday in the Sun."
Mm-hmm.
So they
also
like
true.
cleaned. Like we
Dang.
assumed
Dude.
they got like 50K per song. They made like
Essentially, this is later in my notes, but I'm gonna jump ahead. I think this band only existed to make music for early 2000s empowering chick flicks.
For sure.
Empowering is in quotes.
yeah.
I'm here for it though.
Well, because if you think of the alternatives, like all the alternative women were
Right,
like,
right.
I don't know, like they exist in this like we're still cool, but we're not like too sexy that it's somehow
Yes.
threatening. Like we're actually just about the tunes.
Right.
So if you
Right.
could get off our backs and not make us show
Right.
our midriff kind of vibe,
Right,
I think that's
right.
like really appealing for like 4 quadrants, mass appeal, chick rock
Yes.
for
and that
sure.
era especially. Yeah.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing, man.
I will say that this was not as good as I remembered it. Like the remix of it all, like the
Right.
ma ma ma, like it was
Well,
just so much
really heavy
dirtier.
guitar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the remix of it all. Danielle,
Okay.
what was your experience with that? Clearly, this song you're noticing some shift in the.
Because you were more familiar with the
Power.
original.
My experience was the first 10 seconds of every song, I'd go, okay. And I'd like wait, and I'd wait, and I would let it sink in. And then usually by like 30 to 45 seconds in, I would catch it, and I would catch like the life force of the original song, and it would make
Yes.
itself known to me. And then I would just hold on to that and ride that throughout the rest of the song, like holding on to that surfboard. And then they would have like a random rap or whatever. Which was like, I don't love. However, I do think like the freedom to remix your own work must be such a unique joy as a musician. Because I think about like things that I've done, like podcasts that I've created that like were like memoirs or plays that I've written.
Preach.
I had the ability to like go do that again, but like different without
Yeah.
changing the constitution of the original. Like I think
Yeah.
I would have a lot of fun fucking with that. Like the freedom to like
Yeah,
mess
dude.
with it.
Yes.
And so like I feel like they went wild. Does it work? Not always.
Yeah.
For sure, not a lot. But like I just pictured them like literally getting the band back together and being like, "Oh, do you know what I always wanted to do? I always wanted to say this thing about like you remind me of my mama." And they're like, "LOL." They're like, "Do it, do it, do it." And I just pictured them like daring each other to like push the envelope, and through that lens, I was like, "Have fun, Superchick. Get on." But it didn't always hit the same like part of my solar plexus that I wanted to be warmed, and so I went back and
Right.
listened to as much old stuff as I could find on the internet, and that really did the trick for me personally.
Excellent. Janielle, you're in my brain. Get out.
Is that what you were
Except for
thinking?
don't. Yeah, like to the word, like everything you've said. Resounds.
Specifically solar plexus. He thought that
Specifically.
phrase 0.5 seconds before you did.
Yeah, I texted the guys
Amazing.
earlier. Like I said,
About your
this
soul.
isn't
Yeah,
like
we got it.
aligning
I swear to God, if
with
she
my
says solar
chakras.
plexus.
This isn't aligning with my chakras at all, and I needed to. So thank you. No, it's true. Like the remix thing is a big dynamic that I think we're gonna like cover throughout this episode. So thank you for teeing us off in that
But
way.
I did
Janielle.
like that it wasn't as like traditional remix as like I think when it's like just like electronic recreation of everything. Like
Totally.
it's a remix, but it's a really like a re-updating, a re-recording. And a lot
Yeah.
of these songs did need it. Like this original song, I listened to it, and the
Yes.
guitar tone is pretty terrible in the original one.
Yep.
So it's like they had it's like a cool opportunity to be like, hey, let's like up the sonic quality of these songs and kind of make a greatest hits album, but also like improve the songs sonically. So
Ooh.
I like that it was not like just like beats and all straight up electronic stuff.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
there's
there's a
like real
lot of-
instruments on here. Yeah.
You know,
Well
I remember
said.
when I was 13 and I was straightening my hair in the mirror thinking, the guitar tones, though. It was a repressed memory that you just brought up for me. Yeah, I
I'm so
totally.
sorry.
You just took
Danielle,
the words right out of my mouth, Josh. Yeah,
I'm so
that's
glad
me
you're
too.
here.
That was me too. Definitely.
Some more production stuff. Yeah, I loved the guitar. Even if I didn't love all the guitar, I didn't love. There's a lot of like weird kind of like new metal. So I went back today and I was watching music videos and live videos of Superchick, and it was really interesting to see their like earlier stuff was very like Josie and the Pussycats, or like very like pop punk, and then their
Yep.
later stuff, they really leaned into the whole like new metal, like Flyleaf kind of Chevelle kind of thing. And so this
Ooh,
seems like
yes.
kind of the point where maybe they started
The
to drift
transition
away from the
period.
pop punk stuff into the
Yep.
like heavier kind of thing. And it
Totally.
doesn't always work, but I liked it on this song.
Yep.
There was like a sick breakdown with
Yep.
double bass on the drums and record scratches. You don't hear
Uh-huh.
that a whole lot. And then after the chorus was my first sign of sweet, sweet bass.
I was gonna ask.
Heyo.
There's a lot of sweet, sweet bass on this record.
There
Wait, what
is.
does it sound like? Describe,
Um,
imitate the tone for me.
Do 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 do.
Oh,
Wait, can we get that
Seinfeld.
clean
Seinfeld.
for
Stop.
That is the clip though that I play every time I talk about sweet, sweet bass on here. All right, hold on. Where is the actual bass line?
It's
the one
around
right after the first
158.
chorus.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got that bit crush synth right there.
Can we loop what Janielle just did, please?
Yeah.
I was like, this song could be on Triple X.
Yes.
Oh yeah, like the extreme gaming, like
Uh-huh. For
for
sure.
sure.
Also, this version
Sick.
is simultaneously more funky and more metal than the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
Yeah.
how. I don't know how they did that because those
I
two
just
should
want-
not get along. But I guess that's what new metal is. It's
Yeah,
funky metal.
Yeah. It's new metal.
It's
I want
new.
to give you guys one
the
specific
umlauts.
image to carry in your mind whenever you think about this.
Okay.
That came back to me as I was walking the streets of New York City as a 33-year-old, all grown up, was when there was a period of time where Superchick, where One Girl Revolution, after it had been on Cadet Kelly, was on Radio Disney, AM 620. And I had cassette tapes, and I was always trying to capture my favorite songs.
Yeah.
There's one that I cannot remember what it sounds like, but I can feel the sound of the song in my mind, and one day I'll find it again. There was this very funny Weird Al parody of Star Trek. It was Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah. the one
My,
he
that
does-
Anakin guy.
Yeah,
Yep.
he did.
Thought that was
American
great. I was
Pie.
trying to catch that one, and I was always trying to catch One Girl Revolution. And one time I did. I was on my mom's bed, and I got it. I could feel it was gonna be the next song, so I hit
like,
record.
right.
But preemptively, just anticipate it just
Oh.
enough that I got every single note, and I was dancing on my mom's like Tempur-Pedic bed, and I was rocking out. I was standing on her bed, just jumping and rocking, being a One Girl Revolution. And
I love the specificity of the Tempur-Pedic bed. If I
Yeah.
can just
Yeah, yeah.
it
derail
had
this
like
for a
it
second.
had like little
Really sets the
magnets
scene.
it
in,
does.
in it or something.
It's almost like
And-
she's a
you ha-
professional writer and performer.
Because you have to work harder to.
Yeah,
to
have you ever
You
thought about
do.
getting into that,
on a
Danielle?
Tempur-Pedic
You
bed.
really
That's
do.
why it stands out to me.
And I just want to talk to Superchick in case they listen to this, in case they Google themselves and listen to this, just like the fact that at any point in time they made anybody feel that way, like
Yes.
just to think about like sitting alone wherever you are with your friends. I'm actually probably gonna cry because I've had a little bit of champagne before we
Come
recorded this.
on. Come on.
Like to sit around in a room and there is nothing, and then you create something, and then you actually work at that something, and you don't quit until it makes you feel the way you want to feel. And the fact that you could put that out into the world, and then some like 13-year-old girl can like access a primal feeling inside her body for the very first time, is just like one of the greatest miracles that like we have in this mortal realm. And I just want to say, Superchick, like you did it, and you didn't keep doing it, right? Like you found something else in your life that you're going to do with it, and I'm sure they're happy wherever they are. But the fact that they did that at least once, enough, like that is enough to have done that.
Janielle, how are you taking me to church right now?
I think this is a
I'm
podcast.
at
I think we're
church.
done now.
Well
That's
done.
all we can say. I can't say anything
Great.
better than that.
No, that's literally what we've been trying to accomplish with this whole podcast. Because to a
amazing.
certain extent, all of us have felt that way about different bands and stuff.
And that's
the whole
why we're
thing with
here.
this, like the beauty of this podcast is for me going back to these bands that, like, I would say if you asked 100 people what they feel about Superchick, like 90 of them would be like, who? And then like 9 of them would be like, yeah, they that like weird Christian girl
They were in
band.
Legally Blonde, right?
And that's like it. But you have that experience and you've now shared that with us. And I think that's goddamn fucking beautiful. Like,
It
I
is.
love that.
Thank
That
you.
is so cool. If a band can do that, it's worth revisiting. You know what
Listen,
I mean?
man.
Like,
Let's all get on the Tempur-Pedic bed and just jump
Please
until
do.
we lose our
Yes.
minds.
Yes.
We're exhausted. Like, in fits
That is
of
what we do
laughter
metaphorically
and
every
joy
week
and
here.
bliss. Come on.
Thank you guys. Thanks for joining me. I was pretty
Hell yeah.
lonely, actually. I think I would have welcomed you guys to come jump with me.
we
Just
would
an
have.
only child with her cassettes. Just feel
I was
Well,
I was a
listen.
weird homeschool kid, so I feel you there.
We would all just
Evan.
been like, you like predicted the song would come on and got the whole recording. Like, that's awesome. Like,
Yeah, we're the
that
kind
would
of
have all
nerds
blown
that,
our
like,
minds back in the day. Like,
Like
whoa.
you kind of blew my mind just telling the story now.
Yeah.
Truly.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
and-
Sometimes it's hard to be a one-girl revolution, so
That's true.
it's lots
Well,
of you
let's,
guys.
Janielle, I'll be a 2-girl revolution with you. Like,
Thank you so much.
yeah.
Can we be
because
honorary
this-
super chicks?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I think with the power vested in me via the little chick that belongs to Josh,
that's perfect.
I make you guys all super chicks with me.
Yes.
I
Thank
love
you.
it.
Your alternative in this universe is to be like frogs, which we'll get to that, but like
Oh,
not
we will.
ideal.
God.
I'd rather you
Good
guys be super chicks with
foreshadowing.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been on the first song for a really long time. Is there anything else we need to say about it?
No.
Or
I just thought the slap bass break was very Flea, and
yeah,
I wanted to say that because
Cool.
I feel like there's a lot of Flea bass on this album, but it started here.
yep.
I know
Cool.
we're out of time,
Yeah.
Kit, but can you tell me what a flea base is later?
Oh, Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He put a sock on his penis and plays bass.
That's all you need to know, you know?
Interesting 2 facts
Yeah.
about a person. Cool. All right, we can move on. We can move on.
I mean, to be fair, that's what I thought the only 2 things anyone knew about Flea. But maybe not. Okay, let's move on to... Yeah, I had some lyric notes, but also it does not matter at all. Let's move on to track number 2, Get Up, the heel side mix.
If I get up, I might fall back down again. So let's get up, come on. If I get up, I might fall back down again. But we get up anyway. If I get up, I might fall back down again. So let's get up, come on. If I get up, I might fall back down again. I might fall back down again. And we'll just jump and see, even if it's the 20th time. We'll just jump and
I
see.
get it. Somebody wanted them to put this on a skate video, and they were like, okay, we'll make a remix that you can put on a skate video.
The heels. This is a
Oh, nice, I
hard
see.
left turn musically.
Unless you love Jack Johnson,
Jack Johnson.
Colby Calais, and Sublime
I have a Sublime note later.
all together. If you want them
To
in
me,
one song, you
the
get
synthesis
it. Here.
of all of those, to me, is Sugar Ray. And Sugar Ray was the biggest comparison I had on this record.
Yeah.
It's all
True.
very, very, very Sugar Ray.
Okay, the original rules. I'm just gonna say that the original rules.
Yeah.
This
How do you
version
feel
is
about
fun.
this remix?
This version is fun. I prefer the original.
This is the only one that's not on streaming of the originals, right? I couldn't
Yep.
find it.
Oh, it is not on streaming. I can confirm that.
Okay.
I don't know why I wrote that this reminds me of Josie and the Pussycats. I specifically said it reminds me of Fountains of Wayne, which is like the guy who wrote
Right.
Josie and the Pussycat stuff, and
Right.
then Bowling for Soup. Why would I think
Totally.
of Bowling for Soup? I must not have
Fountains of
gotten to the
Wayne
part
and
yet in the
Bowling for
song
Soup.
where I
Yeah,
feel
no,
like
it's-
that was
No,
the
this
same.
is
Punk
pretty
later.
like, yeah, it's like pretty like pop punk. This chorus is so catchy.
So
Crazy
so
catchy. And honestly, the original is more catchy, but the original gets both of my thumbs. That's
Oh,
all I'm trying
wow.
to say.
Oh.
Okay.
Truly, this gets one.
I need to listen to the original. This was the only one that I didn't listen to the original version of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the chorus is super catchy. Maybe is a little too repetitive, but
Oh,
I
I,
mean,
want
it's
to talk
still-
about that
Still so
because
catchy.
I pulled a Josh, guys. I did some. Okay, so in this
Do some
song, they
song
say the word
suturing?
"fall" 36 times. So this is my attempt at being Josh.
But did they get up? But
Okay.
did they get up 37?
Wait, this song
Well
is
said,
4
Janielle.
minutes and
Well
1
said.
second long. So that averages out to 9 falls a minute, or 0.15 of a fall
Did they go to the
per
hospital?
second.
That's so good.
They're still getting up. That's great.
New year,
man.
new bit. I'm trying to
love
be
that.
like Josh. That's
Thank
the
you,
most Josh
Kylan.
thing I could think of.
Man,
Well
I
done,
relate
man.
so hard to those statistical analysis.
Yeah. But can I just say, I love the lyrical tone of this song. Like, I am here for the wholesome positivity. It is so good.
Yeah. They
Like, it
laughed
is
when I fell
cathartic.
down, but I have dared to climb.
You dare
That's
to
true.
climb. We got to get back up again. We all do.
Oh,
Even
this
when
is the part that
there's-
feels Bowling for Soup.
Right.
I did like the male BGVs. I wish there was more of that on the record.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good dynamic.
Yeah, agreed. You're not
I-
talking about rap. You're talking about
No,
singing.
yes, I'm talking about the singing vocals.
Good clarification.
Yes, thank you, TJ.
Oh, this is so Josie right here. You can just
I
see
know,
Tara
I
Reid
know.
pretending
I
to
know,
drum, can't
me
you?
too.
Truly.
It's so
Yep.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe she
Kylan-
learned to drum. Sorry, I don't mean to Tara Reid
you
slander. I don't know
definitely
if she
should.
did.
No, you.
Again.
The reason the original is better, in my opinion, is because I don't understand the need for the pseudo sexy outtake vibe of the vocal. That's for you, Max.
Okay,
Why is that there?
TJ?
Why is it there?
it is because the sexual tension between these bandmates
Oh my gosh.
is
You're not
incredibly
wrong.
strong.
I'm
They're
so
For-
glad
like
we're
Christian
talking about
Fleetwood
this.
Mac.
They are so conspicuously not dating each other that it is bordering on edging. It is insane, these people. And
For sure.
so the little like homages to each other, like this is for Trisha. It's all about how you shouldn't kiss boys, but you should kiss us later. Or like, this is for you, Max. I don't know. I just think these people all wanted to touch faces,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
couldn't
And other
or
parts, yeah.
wouldn't or shouldn't.
Right.
And God, is that hot. So,
So they
that's
had
my
to
theory.
think about it.
Because they were
They had
too committed
sing
to the
about
band.
it.
Oh my goodness.
They didn't
Yeah.
want to tear the band apart, so they just
Like it's
you know,
very like Christian Fleetwood Mac. It's every young Mac's battle.
it's good.
I'm done.
Like,
No. That was,
There's nothing hotter though, honestly.
because
Yeah.
the confusing thing is, what is for Max? Like, there was nothing. She just says, "That's for you, Max." So it leaves the audience in suspense. Like, we don't know.
It's
But
just
do
for
we?
Max, TJ. It's just for Max. It's just for
I
Max
know.
to
Only
feel a
he-
little
Why is she
knows.
sharing it
flitter
publicly?
in his heart
it's
because that's
just
the
for Max,
exhibition
why
of it.
isn't
That's
the
what's so
private
hot
exchange?
about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's part
It's
of it.
hot because it's
It's
a
mean.
secret that they have in
It's
public.
mean. It's mean. I don't like it. So I
That's
like
But
the
it's
hot
not
for
mean
original.
if you're
people.
in. It's only mean if you're not part of it.
Yeah, and
But-
they put it out there in the world for so many
He's
thousands or
also-
millions of people to be part of it. That's mean.
he's
They're
also
ki-
producing the record, and he
I
chose to leave
know.
that in because
I
he's like,
know.
I want the world to know.
Because they wanted
That's
what I know.
That's the
but
thing. Is
couldn't.
like, it's not mean on Trisha's part. It's mean on Max's part. That's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
But he's kind of doing it to himself, though. Like
No, he
chose
knows
to-
what he's doing.
Oh,
Maybe
he's-
that's his
he's
kink.
Very aware.
Mm.
He knows what he's doing.
I can just feel it. I just feel the sexual energy.
And then
throughout all this.
So
afterward,
funny. I have
there's
some
not
horny notes
fucking.
later too.
There's this like snotty punk outro that is not
Yeah.
in the original, and that feels like some tension. I'm not gonna say what kind. Y'all can say what kind if you want. I'm just gonna call it tension.
Sexual tension.
You said it, man, not me.
Yeah, but are you confirming that that's what you meant?
I will neither confirm nor deny that it is the
Alright.
type
You
know,
of tension that
I don't know
Kylan
why
just
you're being
said.
so weird about talking about sex.
I like playing coy, buddy. I like
Super
playing
Chick
coy.
obviously wasn't.
Playing coy.
Super chic.
No.
We don't have to go down this rabbit hole, but like I've lived a life. I have experienced highs and lows. Nothing hits quite as hard as someone you're not gonna hook up with, for sure. But you're gonna toe the line as close as you can to hooking up with them. Nothing quite hits like it, and I feel
That's
like they
true.
have that. They captured it in an album, and that must be really fun for them to be able to go back and listen to.
But like,
it just makes
I
me
don't
blush
know.
thinking about it. Oh,
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know if they think of it that way. Like maybe you're right. I don't know if they do. I would love to talk to any member of the band that
But
would be
until
willing.
then, let's just speculate.
engage
Why
with
not
it.
have
let's
fun
just
with
see.
it?
TJ, I have a
that's the
lot of
thing.
evidence for my theory. I don't think you have any evidence for your theory. Find me one moment in this album that isn't laced with sexual tension.
They are very devout church-going Christians. That's my evidence.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's also evidence for Janielle's point.
Yeah.
That's not as big of a
100%.
get as you think it is.
If they were
100%.
sleeping together, there'd be less tension, but they aren't. And so they're
Absolutely.
just next to each other, like flirting and like creating these immensely intimate bonds without like ever acting on it. And that's like the most intense bond that there is when there's no way to like exorcise it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, Josh, 0.15 of a fall per second, right?
That's crazy. That's a lot of falls, man. It is a lot of falls. You stretch out all those falls, the whole song could just be falling the whole. That's all the lyrics.
This episode is turning out a lot hornier than I anticipated.
It's
Yeah, I was gonna
Super
ask
Chick's
if y'all
fault.
I
anticipated
know.
this.
I'm here for
I
it.
knew Janielle would come with some fire.
Is this coming
didn't
out
know
around
if y'all-
Valentine's Day?
Just so you know, there's
hope
just
so.
a huge,
I need that.
like, many lady boner killers are coming our way. There's just
Oh,
the
yeah.
tension throughout, but just like the content itself
Yeah.
really takes you out of it.
But hey, everybody wants a Valentine from a Barlow girl, right?
It's true. It's true.
Oh gosh, I can't. Okay, I got
Cool
a
me
lot of
off.
notes on that song. All right, let's move on, guys, to track number 3. Unless there's anything else about "Get Up," the heel side mix. All right, here we go. Track number 3, "Me Against the World."
From all sides, don't know why I try. So take this and kiss it. Goodbye, won't miss it. I wanna go back to LA. I don't belong, that's what they say. They said don't try to change the world, you're just a girl. So it's me again.
I would like to share something with you all.
Let's
Okay,
hear it.
please do.
I like this song the least.
Oh.
It
Go
is
on.
so it doesn't have a point of view on itself. This is the one to me that felt like One Girl Revolution did really well. Let's
Yes.
try to be empowering girls again, vaguely. And let's
Yes.
just go change the world. How are we
Yes.
going to change
Right.
it? Doesn't
Thank
matter.
you.
What
Yeah,
part of
me
the
against
world?
the world.
Doesn't
Thank
matter. What's going to happen? We're just going to keep being ourselves
Yeah.
and vaguely make the world a better place somehow.
They do
Yep.
say LA, right? In this song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanna
that's
go back
where-
even
that's
more
where they're
vague.
Oh,
changing it.
my mistake.
Than the world. LA is even more vague than the whole globe.
Yeah. It just, I feel like all good art comes from like a spark of itself. Like it knows what it's about. And this to me
Yes.
felt the most like AI generated vague empowerment words in order.
Yes. It's a bad reiteration of
Yeah,
One
it's
Girl
got
Revolution.
bad like sequelitis.
Yes.
Yeah,
very much.
totally.
It's literally in
Diminishing
Legally Blonde
returns.
too. Like
And this is
it
the one that's in the sequel, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
a sequel was drawn
it
to the
couldn't
sequel.
be more
They
like,
could have. I mean, maybe they got
derivative.
commissioned to like write it. Like,
There's
hey, can you
there's
write
some
a
kind of paper that could be written about the correlation between One Girl Revolution and Legally Blonde and Me Against the World in Legally Blonde 2. There's some sort of
100%.
like meta implication there.
Yeah,
in
somebody's
terms of
done
like,
a thesis paper on it.
We won't release
sequels
another
and-
episode until we finish it too. This is our pledge to you, dear listener.
Hey, speak for yourself, Josh. I'm not doing that.
It gives me major like, oh no, one of our dogs needs like major surgery, and it's gonna cost like
Let's make some
between
save
$10,000
money.
and $15,000.
Oh my
And
God.
it's like, well, there's this Legally Blonde 2 thing. They're like, yeah, we'll write something for that.
right.
Who
If
can
we
pit
believe and we
against
have
the world?
faith, we're gonna change the world someday. Yeah. Roll with that. Roll with
Me.
that.
Yeah, me against the world. That
Right.
works.
Yeah, it's like so vague. It's like vague in the same kind of way of like John Mayer's Waiting on the World to Change. It's like you're not really saying anything, like, but it sounds like you are, which like was kind of good enough to get paid.
Yep.
You can also say nothing. You can also say we all live in a yellow submarine, do you know? But as long as like you really care about it, it like you can tell in the song. I can just tell they don't care.
So good.
They don't care.
Also, the guitar line in the chorus reminds me of Sanctus Real or Hawk Nelson or
Oh my
any
God.
other infinite version
Yeah,
of like Christian
very
pop
much.
punk or secular pop punk in the
You
world.
just said all these words I haven't heard in 20 years. That was really nice for my brain.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Sanctus Real.
Sanctus
We
Real. You
covered
remember them?
Sanctus
Nelson.
Real.
That's our
Yeah,
whole
dude.
podcast. Is
Yeah,
just
we did.
saying words you haven't heard in 20 years.
Uh-huh.
Sounds like I'd really like your podcast, guys. Maybe I should
I think you would. I think you're
Check it
kind
out.
of our key
Check it out.
demographic,
Yeah, we hope so. That's what we're here
which
for.
has been sort of my strategy on booking guests. I'm like, hey, you should be on our show. Also, you may listen to
you
it.
could
then.
stay and keep
This has been a
listening.
mini episode of Behind the Pop Filter with Kylan Savage.
Yeah, there's a method to my madness, y'all. Yeah, this song, yeah, it's all right. I
It's
don't
pretty
know.
much nothing.
It was fine.
Yeah. This could also be in Josie and the Pussycats, but like in the version in the movie when like they have like the computer that creates all the songs and
Yes.
stuff and it's just
Yeah.
playing in the record store. Yeah, it
Yep.
just feels exactly like that. But the intro was really good. The intro was my favorite part. It felt like Limp
Bow,
Bizkit
bow, bow.
mixed with Destiny's Child,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
This
100%.
right here is very like
No, there's a
Destiny's
lot
Biscuit.
of there's a lot
Destiny's
of
Biscuit.
Yeah, there's like,
wow.
oh my god.
But, like-
that's
like
gotta be
the
a
percussion,
tagline for this episode.
The drum
Destiny's
production
Biscuit.
is like super Destiny's Child.
yeah, it's tight.
And then the guitars are super like new metal. I don't get it.
Yep.
It
But
makes
this
no
is
sense
this
to
is
me.
the time. Like 2003 was like that. Really like crunchy new metal guitars and like tight kind of pop drums. That was 2003.
Can I
Yeah.
just say it's really hard to talk about sounds, and I really love your adjectives. It's totally crunchy. It sounds
Yeah.
crunchy.
Go for it. Use all the words. It's very crunchy. Destiny's Biscuit is the crunchiest biscuit
Is the crunchy.
Yeah, that's so good.
of all the biscuits.
Man.
Okay, we have anything else about Me Against the World, or should we get to the real stuff?
Oh,
Let's get to the real stuff. This was the only original song on this release.
Track number 4. Oh, this was?
Yeah,
I thought Me Against
Okay.
the World was.
No, that's
oh,
what he was saying.
you're
No.
saying.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
I see.
That was
Before
my
we move on.
addendum at the end.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Track number 4, Barlow Girls, the remix.
What kind of remix, Kylan?
What do you mean, what kind of remix?
Oh, it's the name of it.
What's it
This one
called?
just says remix.
No, it's this.
There's only a couple of them.
It's the Space Monkey Lab mix.
Thank you.
Oh, it doesn't say
it
that
doesn't
on
say that on
on
Spotify.
on
You
Spotify.
gotta check the.
Yeah, you gotta check the Discogs.
Album, the Discogs album.
I
scans,
don't
yep.
need to. I have you guys. I have no need to do that.
All the boys in the band want a Valentine from a Barlow girl. Boys think they're the bomb, 'cause they remind them of their mom. All the boys in the band want a Valentine from a Barlow girl. Boys think they're the bomb.
You know, it's just like you have these choices. Wow, all the boys in the band. You have this. Okay, first of all, it's like, isn't it like A, B, C? Easy as
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Also, Biz
A,
Marquee.
B, C. Oh, totally.
And more Sugar
Oh, that's
Ray.
so fun.
More Sugar Ray.
You got
Because
what
it's like
I
the white people
need.
version of it.
This is
Oh,
what, yeah,
what a
TJ. This is where I
joy.
said the verses are sublime and the choruses are straight up Jackson 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I put Natasha Bedingfield too. There's a little bit of that kind of
Yes,
in the
also.
verses.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
'cause-
okay.
There's
Go.
too many things to talk about. Too many.
There's just so much. This
I
song is a
love-
universe.
This
It
is the
is.
most chaotic episode that we've had in a long time.
Oh, you're welcome.
And it feels very apt that it's like Superchick. Because there's way more to talk about than I anticipated.
Oh, for sure. I'm loving it.
I knew there would be.
Okay. Do you want to talk about vibes, or do you want to talk about a young woman's journey through purity culture?
Well, we needed to cover both. For
Okay.
Let's start with vibes. Let's
Hey,
start
vibes,
with
Great.
vibes.
Let's
Vibes
start
is
with
the
vibes.
easier
Like-
start. Yeah.
the lighter.
Yeah,
topic.
because I feel like you're gonna have a lot more to say, on the ladder than the rest of us.
I could do it in a tight 3 if I needed to.
Wow.
But I have some things to say about
Great.
all
Vibes,
of it.
hit me.
Okay, so vibe wise, I did say this whole album makes me want to go to the skating rink.
Yes.
Like
What a joy.
I just want, like, I'm just having flashbacks. My first job ever was at a skating rink, and I just imagine the like Tuesday 1 p.m. skate where like
You're
no
not
one's
talking
around.
rollerblades.
It's just what I can't do rollerblades. I have flat feet.
Right. I just wanted to like contextualize the story. Another vibe note, really quick. The guitar line around 26 seconds is very, very much an aping of the Fame guitar line.
Yeah.
It's kind
Sing
of like it's very Bowie. Fame.
This production in general felt the most like mid-career Newsboys.
That's so specific, and
Right?
yet
We are the
tracks.
only audience that will like resonate with. You're like, yeah, he's so right.
Yeah.
Also vibe note, but also like theme note and tone, like lyrical tone note. I don't like the kid vocals. It is deeply uncomfortable.
It makes
to
it
me.
feel really weird.
It is deeply.
Do you picture a
uncomfortable for
bunch
me.
of children trapped in a studio and they're not allowed to leave until they sing good enough?
And also gender dynamics and like age and stuff and consent. Like it's super weird.
Maybe it's like their nieces and nephews.
Maybe that's still weird.
They're all,
I don't
like,
know
still
if the
weird.
nieces and nephews
They're all,
should
like,
be
the
singing
fact
about
that they're
whether
like
they always want the Barlow
related
girl or
doesn't make
not.
it easy.
Oh, I didn't even
Doesn't
think about that. Wait, what are the words that they're singing? What are the words that they actually say?
all the boys in the band want a Valentine from a Barlow girl, right? So again, going back to that
Yeah.
tension of a certain nature that I will not say.
Why
y'all
would you?
are
Why are
free
you
to
being so
say.
weird about it?
It's a
About
bit.
just saying
New
that-
year.
You know what,
Okay.
Kylan?
Okay.
TJ
Uncomfortable
has
bit.
an unspoken,
Okay.
and
Thank
you
you,
can't make him
Alright.
share it.
I can't. I
Thank
know.
you.
I know.
Thank you.
It just has thrown me for a loop. I get
We've
it
been
now. I
friends
get it.
how
I'm on
long?
board. I'm on board.
All right. Anyway, the kids are weird. It's weird. I
Yeah.
don't like it. I am not
Okay.
opposed to a child choir. I am opposed to it in this song. It was not in the original. I like the original.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm done.
So,
Okay, so speaking of trauma, sorry, Josh, talk about your vibes.
no, I was just gonna say. What was I gonna say?
I'm so
I totally
sorry.
forgot it.
Oh,
He was
no!
traumatized.
Oh,
He
what
was
was I
traumatized, so he
gonna
forgot.
say? Oh, are you wanting to go into like something here? Because okay, I didn't do any research, but I'm assuming they are talking about the band Barlow Girl,
Yeah.
right?
They
like,
the song
but-
predated the Barlow Girls.
Yeah, so like, were
Yeah.
they known for like I
They
guess
were
not
known
dating,
for-
Well,
and
we've
then they
speculated
became a
on
band?
this.
They
Like,
were, so I looked it up. They're advocates
Okay.
for purity culture.
Before they were a band.
During their bandness.
I thought they were later.
Right, but
Because
Josh
this
is
came
saying,
out in
like,
Super
how
Chick's
did-
first album, which was like 2000.
But they might have like opened for them at like a small church or something. You know what I mean? Like,
that
Like,
we
we're
will
gonna write
never
a song
know
about you.
yeah.
Oh, that's my fan fiction for how this got written was like there's a charitable way to view the song and there's another way to view the song. I view the song when I want to think nicely
I like
kindly
that.
about them that it's like kind of like one big inside joke. Like Dave like had a crush on the girl who was like opening one of the Barlow girls talked to him when they were
Right.
playing at the church whatever, and then he made some comment about how she looks like reminds him of his mom, and then everyone's like, Dave, look around. Does anyone here remind you of your mom? And then they just like turned into a whole song from there, you know? I can like see the whole story of like how it turned into like it was a bit and then it was a song. And then it tied into purity themes. So they're like, that's nice. We can like build into that. And they made it a
Right.
bop.
Can I just add some context to your fan
Yeah.
theory really quick? So lyrical note, tracks 3, 6, 8, and 9 are the only ones that Patricia is credited for writing the lyrics on.
Ooh.
Barlow Girls is track 4, so it is not among.
Oh.
I was just
So-
looking at this right now because Melissa, her sister, does have some writing credits on a few of these songs, but she does not
Correct.
have writing credits on Barlow Girls. It is
Exactly.
words and music by Max Sue and Dave Kazarian.
Yes.
So the boys wrote the Barlow girl.
They wrote this one. They
So,
want the Valentine.
To
They're
your
like,
point, Janielle.
I think that ruins my point. I thought it was like
Well-
a bit that they were doing like against one of the boys.
I mean,
probably had a crush on
yeah.
a Barlow girl,
Well-
but they're now it's like actually like a plaintive plea from the boys to the Barlow girls,
Yeah,
which
now
makes
it's
it
a-
so much more
right.
manipulative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That's-
okay,
that's what I was
saying.
I need all of the men to shut the fuck up because I want to hear what Janielle has to say about
Ooh.
this.
Me
one.
too,
We've been
me
talking
too.
far
Allow
too
me to
long about it.
dazzle.
I am here for this.
Listen, what is there to say about purity culture? I actually feel like a later song about the boys and the frogs tells us a lot more about purity culture than this song does. But being a young woman, growing up in the height of a very specific moment in purity culture when it was like had its chokehold on all of us, and I was just young enough to have very little critical thought as I was like having it surround me. I think the song captures something really specific and important about that psyche, or either that or it just like molded my psyche. So one way or the other, which is
I
like,
think it's universal.
yeah, connected. Yeah, which is that like at its worst, there's this sense that like in purity culture, in this like you want to be better than other girls, like you want to be the Barlow girl, you want to be exceptional, and you want to be like really special, and you want the guy to fall in love with you because like you're the one with your prayer journal who gets up early at the youth group retreat and goes on the beach, not to get boys' attention, to talk to God, and like that's what's really gonna like turn the hottest guy in your youth group's head towards you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and you're flashing your purity ring all the while. Right?
yeah, which is like, on one hand, like, of course you want to be special. Like, you're like a teenager, everything's performance
Sure.
art.
Yeah.
But just the idea that, like, I'm not like the other girls, I'm a Barlow girl. Like, I remember what a healing salve it was to my spirit the day I, like, turned 20, or, like, probably 19, and was like, I'm just like other girls.
Yes.
I'm just like every girl.
Thank you.
Other girls are great. I love other
Yes.
girls.
Oh.
I don't need to be different or better than other girls. Like, that's not what this is. It was such a healing,
Thank
like,
you.
experience. But like you spend so much of your time being young, being like, there's only two options: you're a whore or you're a saint, and so you have to like work very hard to performatively be a saint. And then on the more earnest side, what I like that this captures is like there is a sense in the tender underbelly of all of that like you will be overlooked, like that there is like something about your values are gonna make you just not matter to boys. Boys aren't gonna like you, they're not gonna find you interesting, like you're like being left behind in some way, and then you mask that with a sense of superiority. Do you know what I mean? Like twin yin and yang of the same thing, of the disease of the purity culture on girls. But so I felt I felt for like, I love that they capture interiority, or try to capture interiority of like a specific type of feminine experience. Like that feels really lovely to me. But what they captured in there was a little like, I don't know, I'm tagged in this photo and I don't like it.
Yeah, it was like a clumsy maybe way of doing it, from a lens of like 2023, right? Like,
Right.
Oh yeah,
Which makes more sense
doing
when
this
you
as
do
adults.
know the context that it was like written by a dude.
Yes. And then and then I had a controversial thought, which was, is this song camp? Is this inherently campy? Like, did they mean
100%.
this to be just like campy, funny? Like it is capturing something that they thought was like really funny and maybe like a little bit true, but they completely aggrandized it. And and
So
then
yeah, I'm wondering if that was the intention, if it's like almost like the other side of the coin of like Reliant K's mood ring, but where that was kind of obviously like meant to be a joke. If there's this like, I mean, this is a whole thing that we do not have to get into because we'll be here all goddamn night. But like the fact that it was like performed by women, there wasn't this sort of like benefit of the doubt that it is a joke.
yeah, that's a
don't
really
know.
good point.
And they're
That's
like,
a
if
very
we
good
make
point.
it Jackson 5-y, maybe people will like catch that it is more of a joke kind of deal. It's a
Maybe if we bring in a
lighthearted
bunch
kinda
of
thing.
kids singing about it, maybe that'll make it
Yeah.
really clear that we don't mean actual.
Yeah,
there's
I don't
this-
know. That's really interesting though.
I can't remember who said it, but I'm working on a film podcast right now, and we're doing a ton of research into a lot of different things. And I'll tell you about it later. But somebody brilliant said there's actually no way to like portray war without endorsing war.
Right.
Because you try to show like, oh, it's so violent, it's so bad. Like I'm portraying
Right.
it, but I'm not endorsing it. But it
Right.
actually looks really cool to blow stuff
Right.
up.
Yeah.
So even if you show like the kid crying afterwards, that doesn't make up for the fact of how cool, or like when you like seeing someone smoking, if they're cool, it doesn't matter if they die after.
or if you have
from
the
emphysema.
disclaimer about
Right.
smoking is
Doesn't
bad.
matter. Like they looked cool, and so
Totally.
like I sort of feel like with some of these songs, it's like with Mood Ring especially, like what we did, what me and my friends did, were like, haha, we get the joke. Other girls suck, but not us. Not us.
Right.
We're the cool
Totally.
ones. But those girls are the
Yeah.
worst. Like
And it
we
warps-
get it, Matt Thiessen.
Right.
And it warps your psyche a little bit, like you're saying, like,
Yeah.
and it others other people in a way that it shouldn't,
does.
right?
It does.
So, and especially with this song, for me personally, it's like finding out it was written by a dude. It like doesn't matter who performed it. There's an agenda behind the writing, and
Right.
I don't think that it's like, haha, it's a joke, guys. I think it's a little tokenizing. So that's just
Yeah.
my personal read on it. It feels a little weird.
It does.
I don't like it.
I'll, yeah. I don't. This song
Guys, I love that we've talked this much about it and we have not even brought up the KJ52 rap.
I was
this
just
song
gonna
has
say.
so much to discuss.
The rest of
Yeah.
what ruined it for me, this was KJ52. I'm
Like
really sorry.
I wrote, of course there's a KJ52 verse.
I wrote yuck, and then I went, wait, spare me the drama. You remind me of my mama. It was very funny. That's when I wrote down, is it camp? Is it an edible bop?
Right.
Is this camp?
It's a Freudian nightmare. Like I don't
Or a
understand.
Freudian paradise.
yeah. Also, is this the only song that has the phrase sexual hypnosis?
In the
Sexual
world?
hypnosis by being
I think,
hottie.
yeah.
By being hottie. Yeah,
I
don't
mean,
think
Marvin
that's
Gaye was
grammatically correct.
Marvin Gaye was close.
Is it?
He was
was
close, but no Freudian cigar there.
I love the lighting the syllables too. Sexual
Hottie.
hypnosis
Yep.
By being hottie.
Yeah, and then my
Cadence.
last note on it was, yes, there are guys who are willing to wait. Just ask a Barlow girl on her wedding day. My only note
Sir?
is don't ask any bride anything about of a sexual nature on her wedding day. The
Well,
only
that's a
thing
good
you ever
rule.
ask a bride on her wedding day is, how can I help?
That's a good note.
Well
Like,
said. Well said.
That's a very married comment, Kylan.
Yeah, I know.
That's
a lot of wisdom
comment
in
to
that
someone
comment.
who's
Yeah.
lived with a wife.
Yep.
So that prompted me to go on a goose chase, desperate to figure out what happened to the Barlow girls. Did they get married? And whenever they posted about their marriage, did people in the comments say, ask a Barlow girl on her wedding day?
Let's
Right.
go.
So I did a lot of Googles on Wikipedia. And what I found out, firstly, was that the Barlow girls were big components of purity culture, obviously.
Yep.
And that meant that they were really into I Kissed Dating Goodbye. And then when Joshua Harris in 2016 was like, sorry about that, you guys, I'm actually deconstructing everything. And I think I
Right.
might have been the biggest tool ever. One of their staff members of Barlow Girl confirmed that the purity doctrine once taught by the sisters, quote, doesn't reflect band members' current views, end quote. So I was like, what? Are they deconstructing queens? Like, let me go find them. And that led me to find Rebecca Barlow, the eldest of all of them, who was like probably, I don't know how old she was, but she
what
had
did
to
she
have been
play?
a teenager when I was 13. I don't
She was in
remember.
the band, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she was. It was like Rebecca, Alyssa, and another one. Rebecca got married September 19th, 2020.
Congrats.
Oh wow.
So that was a
Congrats.
long time
That is a long time, yeah.
to
for
have a
most
song
people.
about your future wedding day and then to have your wedding day.
Oh,
I wonder
man.
if it's rivaled by Butterfly Kisses, girl.
Oh. Oh.
Just a long time for people to be thinking about your wedding day, to be like, thanks for all this pressure, guys.
Your
But-
wedding day.
So then her Instagram is gone. I went to find the Instagram post, but it's been obliterated. But
Wow.
Alyssa's Instagram is still live. Oh, but just I want you guys to know that Rebecca married a guy who's very hot.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
her.
glad to know that.
It's like
Because
salt
all the
and
boys in the
pepper.
band wanted her.
He's
So-
like
Right.
salt and peppery, like mid 40s, like a grown ass man. He was very handsome. I was very happy for her. I then found the two younger sisters. They had a podcast from September to December 2020, like most of us, for a couple
Right.
months. Had a podcast.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you should ask them to be on the pod.
I mean, I'm
Let's
still
do it.
going to. The
Yeah,
thing is,
let's go.
I'm 100% going to reach out. But yeah, that was very much the trend. After everyone baked bread at the beginning of the pandemic, then everyone started a very short-lived
Yes.
podcast.
Including
Yeah.
us.
Including us.
Including us. But then we got Josh on, and
We were too
decided to keep
stubborn,
going.
so we kept going.
One of their last episodes was like, it's called like somewhere in between or something. It's like in betweenness. And I was like, sounds deconstructing to me. Sounds Richard
Yeah.
Rory. Like I was really
Curious.
excited. And then it was like the last episode that they had was like our healing journeys. And I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be about healing from purity culture, like healing from their like traumatic childhoods of having to be like the poster girls of something they don't quite understand because they're like literally 16. And then I click their book list for their healing journeys. And it was like Bob Goff
Oh,
and Joyce Meyer and self-help. And I was like, damn it, they're still in the clutches.
They're still there.
But Barlow
Hey,
Girls,
Bob
if you're
Goff's a
listening,
sweet guy, right?
I'm sure
Like,
he's lovely. He just doesn't
Yeah.
tell me that someone's like, wow, let me really unpack the true trauma of what I was put through, having to perform my faith and represent not having sex for a nation of young girls. That
Right.
has to be super traumatizing. And Barlow Girls, if you're listening, I just want you to know, hit me up. We can talk. I've got books. I've got more books.
That would be great.
super traumatizing
Yes.
or super chic?
Please hit up Janielle.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm here.
please, y'all talk, but just let me be part of the conversation because I just want to listen.
We'll just sit
All the
quietly.
girls in the
That's what a podcast is,
want to
Kylan.
chat with a Barlow girl.
Okay,
Boys
guys,
will listen well.
I think this is going to be the biggest chunk of our podcast. So
It is. All right, I'm done. That was it. I just wanted to share my research.
that was incredible.
If any episode was going to be a super episode,
A super chick
okay.
episode. This is super chick heavy. Let's move on to track number 5. Stand Up.
The mob action mix.
Thank you for that. Yeah, Spotify after a certain point just was like,
Yeah,
okay, they're all
Spotify
remixes.
was slacking.
why do we care what the remix is
You
called?
could rewind and play it again. Stand up, like the soundtrack for your life. It doesn't happen to you, you happen to life. Do something with your life.
My first note on this song is, hey, I listened to Linkin Park too.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought Evanescence.
I said 1,000 Foot Crutch.
Also Evanescence. Also 1,000 Foot Crutch.
Also, it's all correct.
It's all of the above.
It's all correct.
Little
I
bit
said,
Cutlass
okay, I
energy.
hear you, 1,000 Foot Crutch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this song
I
has
said-
too much bongo for that.
yes.
That's the only thing. There's like this
Yeah.
like rap rock kind of thing, but
Yeah, you can't also
too
do
much
bongo. Like those don't sort of like how the One Girl Revolution remix was more metal and more funky. This one is
Yeah.
more bongo and more Linkin Park.
yeah.
You happen to life. I like that line.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen
that-
to you. You happen to life.
But the way that vocal
Yeah,
line
lyrically
is
strong.
very much of that style.
Yeah, like this should have been a credit song on Spider-Man 2. But
Totally.
No, you're totally right.
I
And is
digress.
that's not Trisha singing that line, is it? Is that, I'm assuming, Max or someone else in the band?
Yeah,
Like that's
I think
the more
so.
like the background. Like I love that dynamic that they have when they do both of them.
Yeah.
yeah, more of those shared vocals.
Yeah, for sure.
The verses are like Modest Yahoo meets like TLC.
Right.
I don't know.
But it's
what's
because there's the bongos that like that bongo player is going goddamn crazy on this song. Like this was their time to shine.
I'm gonna
And
say
it
that
was
was
not
Max.
the song that
Oh,
it
yeah,
needed.
it's definitely
to-
Max.
It's Max. He did everything else. He did all the
once
things.
once again, they're back to daring, and Dave's like, "I dare you to put bongos on this song," and Max is like, "I'll freaking
Watch me do
man.
it. Watch
Yeah.
me.
Set the mic up. I'll do it."
Yeah, like I want the soloed bongo track on this song because it would
Remix
be
it and just make it so high in the mix.
yes.
Oh
I
my
just
God.
want video of just tracking the bongos for this song because like
Yeah.
they've been like screaming and yelling and then like
Smoking Dream Killers.
I didn't even notice the
so-
bongos.
the bongo player is so into it.
What does it mean to smoke Dream Killers, you guys?
Dream killers are drugs, TJ. Don't smoke
Yeah.
them. They'll kill your dreams.
Oh, I thought it was capitalism. Sorry, I'm wrong.
Okay, so one thing that the line, are you okay with today if tomorrow was the end, brought back like a wash what was like happening so much in the aughts, which was like post Columbine, post like Cassie Bernal, she said yes vibes in youth groups.
Right.
Which was the like, are you okay
Oh.
being a martyr? Will you stand up for Christ? Will you raise your hand? Like, are you willing to die? Because if not, you might have to rededicate your life to Christ. And I was like,
If
oh,
not-
okay, for sure, I will.
Oh
Yeah,
god,
if
I'm
not,
getting
don't
hot
get on a
flashes
plane.
hearing that.
Like,
Yeah,
my God,
the
that
I
like,
might go into some Twin Towers. Like,
the like,
Look out,
the
y'all.
Trump
and we haven't
card
even
of
gotten to
death.
Hero yet. And that's
It's true.
Oh, man.
oh boy.
It was wild. I just brought it back. I forgot what that. It's been so long since I felt that way.
Me too,
yeah,
and I don't
because
love it.
we all put it away. We compartmentalized it into like the back cobwebby, dusty part of our brain.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
now this album is putting it front and center, and we have to confront it. It's so fun.
Welcome to Superchick Deconstruction Now.
Jams.
Like,
Deconstruction.
there was more sweet bass on this
Yes,
song.
I was gonna ask Kylan, was there any sweet bass?
There was right
really
after the
enjoyed it on
first
this
chorus. That
Yeah.
was like I feel like every song on
So
this
true.
record,
Yeah.
like right after the chorus, the bassist is like, "I fucking got this."
My turn, guys. Don't worry about it.
Like hell yeah, I'm here for it.
And I really like the tone of it on this one too. It was really good. Did y'all listen to the original version?
Yeah.
Not of this one.
Okay, because the original one is like in a major key.
Yes.
And this is in a minor key.
Yes.
So it's
this
like
is why when I
vastly
heard
different.
it, I was like Linkin Park. I didn't think that way ever about the original.
Yeah.
Because I knew the original as a kid, and I was like, this is totally different.
Yeah, no, I was surprised. Like most of the other ones, I was like, okay, they could have maybe kept the takes from the original and just reused it,
Right.
or like maybe they just re-recorded. But it was like they had to re-record it because it's a completely different,
Totally different song.
different tonality to it.
Yeah. Which can I maybe play devil's advocate for just a second? Janielle, you made a great point earlier about like how fun and how like joyful it must be for a band to remix their own works and like recreate their own songs. I was challenged by that, and I appreciate that perspective because it helped me appreciate this album a little more. Because to be honest, I see it as a rehash. I see it as a little bit lazy. I see it as derivative and parody of self. Like it's Spielberg doing what was the video game movie he made
What do
that
you
was
mean
horrible?
Spielberg's best movie, Ready Player One? We've talked
Or
about
you.
Lost World,
Thank you
Jurassic
so much.
Park.
Both of those. Any movie where he's parodying himself. Like this feels like Superchick being a parody or a caricature of Superchick, and that was frustrating for me. So like I had the nostalgia vibes, right? This was my first concert. Like I felt strongly about this band. So sorry, I'm soapboxing a little bit, but like so much of this album was
Wait,
like
hold on, TJ. Let me
Yeah.
grab the soapbox.
Get it for him.
Okay, ready.
I have like an unapologetic love for Superchick. This album made me really reconsider that. And without showing my hand too much, I am in the throes of conflict, you guys. I am deconstructing my love for Superchick.
On
You might
air.
say that I'm taking this from Josh, so I'll just give him credit really quick. But I am maybe like degenerating my love for Superchick slightly.
Wow.
Because they tried to regenerate themselves, their essence, their identity, and I don't know if it worked. And especially on this song, I was just like, why did you need to put it in a minor key? Like, why did you do that? Did that make it better? I don't know.
Okay, so that's
It
so
feels
interesting
lazy.
to me because to me, this feels like the MO of the band from the get-go.
Absolutely.
Like they've
and that's
always
what's challenging me.
They've always, to me, like
thought they were a little
attempted
more
to be
original.
like a commercial hit,
Right.
and so
Oh,
to
and they
me,
clearly
it-
were.
Absolutely.
It doesn't necessarily feel lazy to like take these songs and like try them again to attempt to be a bigger commercial hit.
100%. And that's the problem is I saw them as champions of art, but actually I think they're champions of like commercial music.
For sure.
So-
Oh yeah,
Does that
yeah.
make sense?
Okay,
So it's,
okay, yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah. So-
recontextualizing my understanding of the band. And
Yeah,
that's,
that makes
and
sense.
That's challenging for me. But
Yeah,
in a
because
good way.
because I came at it having always sort of thought of them that way, and so
Got
it
it.
makes sense that like you're now struggling because you thought of them in
Because as a
different way.
sixth grader, I thought this is the pinnacle of what it is to be an artist. And then I didn't come back to them. Like I think I listened to them for maybe 2 years, 6th, 7th grade. I think I was done after that. And when you don't go back to a band and you've got this like a vision of them in your
You
head,
left them on
that's like-
top too,
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm coming at it from a critical place.
Do you think this is them commercializing their work? To me, this was them like getting together and just doing whatever they wanted, and then you're being confronted with like them indulging their own worst impulses.
100%. It's also that, in my opinion, and that is irritating to me because as an artist, I feel the pressure to create something that my audience might love, and I don't know if that's actually healthy. I think that might actually be problematic, and so I'm having to reckon with what is
Right.
art, right?
Right.
Is it okay to be a little indulgent and a little
It's like the argument of like, can you separate the art from the artist? We usually say that because like we love the art, but the artist is like a bad person. But like to you, it's like, can you love the art that an artist made, but then also find out that you actually hate the artist's taste? Then like, what is the art that they made? Is it them,
That's
or
it.
is it something else
That's it.
that
That's
you have
interesting.
ownership over?
I like to call this
Yep,
the
yep.
Tim Burton conundrum
oh
because like
yes,
right
precisely,
like
precisely.
at this point Tim Burton has made more movies that I fucking hate
yes,
than movies that I love.
That's it. That's it.
But
And that's what I mean when I say parody.
yes,
caricature.
and
Like,
after a certain
what
point
are
he's
you?
starting to indulge in these like impulses. And it's like, did no one tell him this was no one told him it was a bad idea. In fact,
Hey,
Johnny
'cause
Depp
they're
and
like,
Disney
"It's
were
Tim
like,
Burton."
here's $160 million. Do more of
Go
this.
for it. Yeah. Here, quick question. Have y'all seen Avatar 2?
No.
No.
Tim Burton
Why?
directed that?
Why? No. No.
I'm just kidding.
But to our point,
The James
Right,
Cameron
it's the
Why
same
did
kind of
you
thing
not
of like
see
James
Avatar 2?
Cameron like indulging in that.
thank you. Nobody told him no.
Yeah.
Nobody told him
All
no.
right. Well, this has been Movie Jams now.
It's
Let's
a
move
good
on to track number
analogy.
6. We're
It's a good
barely halfway through
analogy.
this album. This is like the shortest album we've covered.
I do just want to say, TJ, to your point, I do prefer the original major key version.
Thank you, Josh.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So I'm with you on
Is that what you've been doing
All
this whole
right.
time, just listening to that while we were talking about movies?
Yeah, Josh has been jamming out. To...
Just like, catch you later. I'm gonna go check
Major
it out.
key stand up.
All right, guys, let's move on to track number 6. I Belong to You.
Everybody needs to belong somewhere. Life can feel so alone without someone who cares. And when life becomes something just to get through, that's when I'm glad that I belong to you.
I didn't care for this song.
Me neither.
It was the most churchy.
Yeah.
And it's just like not interesting.
No.
It's
Not compelling.
It's early Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Well,
whoa, yes.
and especially because the rest of this album, the remixes were like super punchy and like really came through. This is the most just like, all right,
Bland.
you're going to hear this at like the end of youth group. You know what I mean? Like this is like the most post altar call kind of song. Like, I don't know. I just did not. I loved the snare drum though. I was
snare
fucking
sounded
good for the
snare.
snare
It's a
drum.
good snare,
Yep.
you're right.
It like
Okay,
right
wait.
where it sits in the mix, it's perfect.
Did she say it? Lord,
What?
I belong to you. That's that's when I started respecting them, because my good friends over at Good Christian Fun have this
Really?
whole thing where they go in about how many songs there are that are is it about God or is it about a boy?
Totally.
Is it about God or is it about a girl? Like Lifehouse, you know, like all that the
Yeah,
genre of
absolutely.
like this is we're benefiting from you thinking this is about God if you're a Christian, and you're
Yep.
thinking about it's about a person.
You can
That's
play
a whole
both
genre
sides.
If you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I admired that they were like, Lord,
So you admire that.
Lord, I belong to you. Well, they were clear.
Because it's
I think
authentic.
that takes
She
it
kind of
back.
sneaks it in.
Sure.
She sneaks
But-
it in to
but-
clarify.
Because I was
in
going to
there.
say that I actually was paying a lot of attention to whether or not across this album the lyrics were sort of boldly Christian, and actually they're not. Like until this,
hmm
they're
Yeah.
kind of not. They're a little
It
more
just-
agnostic. So
It just sort of felt like it came out of someone's like prayer time, and they were like, "This one has to be not on Legally Blonde too, in order to stay true to ourselves."
completely.
And so they
yeah.
snuck the Lord in, and I liked that. And then also I had this thought, which was like, I kind of miss God as my boyfriend, which was
Aw.
like a really important part of being like
Sure.
14-year-old in a youth group.
Yeah.
I sort of missed that. It was
Yeah.
a really sweet time to like be a person with feelings in a journal.
So there's like an earnest and like sweetness that you appreciate about this
Yeah.
track. Okay.
There's
Respect
also
that.
a pivot on the like the final time through. She goes, "That's when I need to feel I belong to you."
Mm.
And that, I'm reading too much into this, but it felt a little more like agnostic to me in an interesting way, which is
Yeah.
like not just like I belong to you, it's like I need to feel like I belong to you, which is like, isn't that the truth?
Yeah. Right. There's a layer of like belief or faith that kind of comes into play.
Yeah,
And
or, like-
with a side of doubt.
Yeah, like I'm singing this because I need to convince myself too.
Interesting.
Just feels very honest
Okay.
to me.
Yep.
Anywho,
Yep.
that's what I felt.
I mean,
Wow.
reading too much into a song. I mean, welcome to Church Jams now.
Great,
Like-
great.
Like,
No, I love that you said that because I felt like they were pretty generic lyrics, and like this songs like this are like what you give AI to like write a song, because like an AI could write a song now because it read songs like this as like, oh, this is how you write songs. And so I'm like, you mentioned an AI writing a song earlier in the episode. I'm like, I have that exact note on another song on here. So
That's great.
that's so weird. I had a long, protracted conversation today with a friend on the ethics of AI art, and like now we're talking. It's like the weird synchronicities in my life. It's all like coming together.
Mm.
We've never
Yeah,
talked about AI on Church Jams now, so it's just,
Maybe Superchick is AI. Maybe they
I
don't
could see
actually
that.
exist.
I
Yeah.
can see that.
Like,
I'm just sort of hoping the whole like AI art thing will if I just hold out. I think I don't have to talk about it if I can just like hold out for 3 years like I did with crypto.
Right.
Still haven't had a conversation about crypto.
Right.
I made
No,
it,
now-
and now
now
it's sort
you
of
have.
like now it's small, and so I
you
don't have
just
to worry
did,
about it
though.
anymore.
you just
Yeah,
did. You
that's
had a
kinda
Oh,
conversation
escape!
about
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
you know the difference. There's a difference. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
type it.
just giving you.
I actually brought you onto this podcast to ask if you wanted to invest in my new cryptocurrency.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd be happy
Luna.
to.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Luna's
about
going
this
to the moon.
afterwards.
Cole's Cash sounds great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Shall we move on to the Not All Men anthem?
Oh, man.
yeah. Here we go. Track
You have an
number
hour.
6,000.
I do have the most notes here.
Okay, I have the
I
least
want to
notes
hear
and,
them.
and mine. Okay, can I just say my like
Ugh.
basically one note is like right at the beginning, so I would just appreciate.
Wait, what track is this, Kylan?
Well, I'm telling you before we get to it.
Oh,
I would
okay.
just I would appreciate the floor just really quick because I just have one thing to say and then I'll shut up. Okay, track number 7, Princes and Frogs.
The underdog mix.
Princes start as frogs, and all gentlemen as dogs. Just wait till it's plain to see what we're growing up to be. 'Cause some frogs will still be frogs, and some dogs will still be dogs. But some boys can become men, just don't kiss us till then.
Before we get to it, here's my note. I have listened to this no less than 15 times, and I swear to fucking God, there is one person singing the gang vocals in this that says, "All gentlemen have dongs."
Play it again. Play it again. Play it again. Turn it up.
Okay.
All princes start as frogs, and all gentlemen as dogs.
Wait, do it again. This is like Paul is dead or whatever. Play it again.
All princes start as frogs, and all gentlemen as dogs.
I
It almost
swear
sounds
to you,
like an all
because-
gentleman has dongs.
Yeah, well, there's multiple vocals. They're doing like a gang vocal thing, and I may
think
just be a
this is-
pervert, but I swear to you,
Yeah.
one person in there is saying dongs, not dogs.
I think this is the Tom DeLonge effect.
I don't think so, man. I don't know.
Tom Dong
I don't
Long
know.
effect?
Gentlemen
Tom Dong
have
Long?
DeLongs.
DeLongs. You're right, exactly. He's literally saying DeLongs.
Dun,
I wish I was Tom DeLonge.
I don't know. That's my only note on this song, so we can.
Great
we can,
note.
I love that you
we
like.
can be done now.
How much time
That
did
was
you
it.
spend listening to this over and over?
I told you
Kylan?
I've listened to
Just-
it no
just
less than
ballpark
15
it.
times. In my AirPods, in my speakers in the living room with my Beats headphones. I've
All
listened to it.
all the
I've made my
different
wife
setups.
listen to it no less than 4 times.
And what did she say?
She can hear it. She can hear it. She's know, I'm not gonna give her opinion, but I swear to you, one person in there said dongs.
I
Oh,
kind of
man.
would if I had the power to.
Right. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
It's like the same impulse behind all those Disney animators who like snuck awful things in the background. It's just,
Exactly.
Just 'cause you can.
Exactly.
It's just because you can.
Yeah,
Ugh.
exactly.
Talk about privilege.
Okay. All right. Pulls out
right.
whiteboard.
All right.
Pulls out post-it notes. Does this song suck? Yes. Does it hold up? No. Just the very concept of like we get to be awful for as long as we want because we get to have like a narrative arc until we like turn into people who are worth dating, but you have to be like this like beautiful princess with high standards kind of
Right.
like,
You have
from
to-
the very beginning. Which, if you wouldn't mind being vulnerable with me, I have a specific question. Did you all grow up in your corner of purity culture where it was like girls for sure don't have sex ever,
Right.
but guys shouldn't have sex either? But it's okay if you do, as long as you're like really sorry about it. And also, like, it'd be good if someone knows what they're doing on their wedding night. But like, you shouldn't, though, boys. Like, you really shouldn't.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Sucks.
So that was never like explicitly stated.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was
I
like
don't-
wink,
in-
wink.
It was
in-
subtext.
Yeah, and I think it came for me like less about that and more about I can't tell you how many D-Nows I went to where one person admitted crying, bawling their eyes out, admitted to watching porn and masturbating, and then everyone else didn't masturbate, admitted to masturbating. It wasn't
Gotcha.
that.
I appreciate the
And then-
clarification. Keep going.
And then, yeah, I don't know. I've got a lot of stuff I'm still unpacking about the whole like masturbation is evil thing, which we don't have to get into on this episode about Superchick. But yeah, it was never like explicitly stated, but there was a lot of like TJ said, a lot of subtext.
Yeah, just the idea that like all of it was so serious, but then at any moment, like all of the men, including like all of the men who were like pastors, like youth leaders, whatever, would like devolve into like this like locker room version of themselves. And they were able to like, they were allowed to kind of like devolve for as long as they wanted to, as long as whoever was sort of the alpha like revolved them into being like good Christian guys. Do you know what I mean? It was like they always had this option of devolving into this like creature who could like kind of be like, but not really. And then for the women, it was like, no, you actually have to consistently always be like this like pure, you have to live into your values kind of always, because that's where your like your actual value comes from. So that sucks. Conversely, a thing I do think is actually unfortunately like kind of true, if we're being like fair, is that like it's like not that fun to date guys when you're young. Like you're not a fun demographic
Yeah.
to like be in a relationship with
No,
when you're 16.
we're not good
And, like,
boyfriends when we're young.
Something no one talks about is that like
Yeah.
if you grow up in purity culture, it's like incredibly damaging as a young woman. All my friends who didn't grow up in like youth group purity culture also were having a horrible time
Of
dating
course.
guys and experiencing their sexuality. Like no one was having like meaningful, thoughtful explorations, exploring
Regardless
their
of
own pleasure.
cultural context, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like there's this like, I think that sometimes when we talk about like our trauma, there's this like expectation that the grass is greener, and there's this like sense that like outside of purity culture is where the like sex positivity is, but like not in the aughts it wasn't. Like not that it wasn't. It was like just like flip sides of the same like denigrating coin, which is like in purity culture, it's like you're valuable because of the sex you're not having. Your sexuality is not yours. You exist as an object for God with an intact hymen. And then the flip was your value is in performing your sexuality for people around you, for men around you. You have to be sexy enough to a certain standard, but not too sexy. And your sexuality also isn't yours. It's a tool that you have to like make boys like you and like get value. And also there was like an amount of sex you weren't allowed to be having if you were like in mainstream culture, but like that wasn't determined by like the Bible. It was determined by like a bunch of guys in a locker room who could like change the number any day and then decide you were a slut. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, it was just like a losing game anywhere you were, purity culture or no, which I feel like doesn't get represented enough. And something about the song made me feel like there's something, they're trying to take a stab at something kind of honest about how like it really sucks to like you're in a really shitty stage for being a woman who wants to have like a partner who sees you as an equal, and so maybe that's not going to be pretty realistic for you for a while. That would feel more I don't know, meaningful if it wasn't like a bunch of guys being like that's us. Don't kiss us now, but definitely kiss us later, Trisha. Specifically, if you specifically, Patricia, could kiss us later.
This is called
and
Song for
promise you would,
Trisha.
that would be
Wink,
great.
wink. Yeah.
Yep. Also, Janielle, how does it contextualize what you just said to know that this doesn't have a writing credit from Trisha Brock?
Of course it doesn't.
Yeah,
The boys
yeah.
wrote
I
it.
mean,
Well, the
The boys wrote
original
it for
song.
her.
The original song is titled "Song for Trisha,"
Right.
They were
and
singing
then it
to
says
her.
"Princes and Frogs." Yes, written by Max,
Right.
who I wrote is either a very sweet, caring friend or Max has a major crush on Trisha.
Do you know what the
Max got
weirdest
a
part of
Trisha
that
boner.
was? You know what
Yeah.
the weirdest part of that was, being a girl in a youth group, was thinking you had the former and then turning 18 and finding out exactly the latter at like 12:01. That was a confusing part of being a young woman in youth groups.
Wow.
It's just really disorienting.
Wow. Also problematic about this song from like a dude perspective is like either you get to be a jerk and then just like at the stroke of midnight become a great person, a great human, or in the lyrics of the song it is the idea that for some people there just isn't redemption. There isn't at all. And you
where'd
continue
you
to be
hear that?
dogs.
They're just
Oh.
dogs.
Yeah.
They continue to be dogs. So like it basically from what you've said, it's like whatever you want to hear, man. But from what you've said, Janielle, it's like it was a bad situation for for a certain group of people, and then less bad, but still like not great situation for
No.
another group of
Yeah.
people. So like, where's the win? Where's the win? Like, I feel like we all lose.
The
Like,
young,
that's what this song made me feel.
the young women who were experimenting with their lesbianism when they were 14, they were having a good time.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Because there
Yep.
was no heteronormative script to follow. That's the problem. There's
I
like
love
always a script to follow whenever there's like two cisgendered like expectations. There's like a script, and then you accidentally find yourself stuck in a scene you didn't actually write for yourself.
Thanks for finding the win for me.
Yeah.
I was having trouble finding it. So
It's all the young sapphic queens of the early aughts watching Buffy, watching Willow, and like kind of exploring like
they won.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
I will say that for me, like purity culture was like I was really terrified of boys and men, and like that had its own purity culture. That was from a lot of purity culture stuff. But like
Yeah.
with all the like a lot of my friends have like trauma from it, and mine was sort of like everyone was like, don't pass this circle. And I was like, great, my comfortable circle is actually like really tightly inside that circle. So I'll be sure not to cross your lines, but like my personal lines were like so like I kind of skated by most of purity culture pretty easily. So I just
I
wanna
did
acknowledge my
too, but it
privilege
was
there.
mostly because I was homeschooled for a long time and like super into Lord of the Rings. So
And magic.
So there was like it was really weird because it didn't seem to be a lot of people wanting you to not be a part of purity culture.
Yeah, well, it was
There
a
were
lot of
temptations
like
to
I
not-
was still like forced to read Every Young Man's Battle, but also then I was just like deciphering the Dwarvish runic alphabet from
busy.
You were busy, man. Yeah.
I was
stuff to
I
do.
was busy. I was super
You're like, look,
busy
this book's great,
doing
but this
other
other one's better.
things.
Do you know what? That's actually the guy you want to marry. Like the guy you want to marry is doing that when he's 16.
Yeah.
He's definitely not singing songs about how he's going to grow up to be a great guy one day.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Hey,
Max.
I think all our wives would agree.
Mine was in show choir. Yeah, he's a delight. Best
Yeah.
husband ever.
Yeah.
My king.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Beautiful.
I
do
don't
have-
know,
oh,
man.
sorry.
No, go ahead,
for it.
please,
No,
Josh,
it's
please.
at the very end. It's just like something like a little pick me up at the end or whatever. But
I just had the
if we
rhyme
could continue
structure on
the-
this song is wacky as hell. It like
Those
doesn't make any
goofballs.
sense. It
Those
doesn't
little
make any
goofballs.
sense. It's some
Yes.
bullshit, man.
All of it's pretty wacky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Regardless of the like sexual ethics and politics and purity culture dynamics at play within this song, purely from a songwriting perspective, this song is some bullshit, man.
it's
like
bad.
it's just a bad song.
Which was what helped me double down on the ethics and the themes, because I was like, there's nothing hooking me.
Yeah,
like,
there's nothing to say about the music. It fucking sucks. Rhyme structure sucks. There's nothing to hook into. So yeah, let's dig into this part of it.
exactly.
Maybe
That's
it'll be a
great.
great song one day, Kylan. Just give it time.
Yeah,
it's a dog right
you know,
now, but it'll
become a
a
prince.
prince later.
It's
Yeah.
a dong, but one day.
It's a dong. It is. This song is a dong, man. Two dongs down. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, let's move on to track
Okay,
number
wait.
eight.
The only
No,
thing I wanted
no,
to say, the only thing I wanted to say was in the original song, they start off with the Back to the Future bit, which is like
Yes.
I'm sure it was super fun then, but I'm like it feels like okay, obviously like too much now. But
Yeah.
he says, "All right, guys, this is a simple 1 3 4 5 in the key of F sharp. Watch
Try
me
to
for the
keep up."
changes and try to keep up." And I'm like, okay, I see what you did there. We all want, and I'm like, I would have done that if I had a band
In 2003.
yeah, when I was a kid or like super young, I'd been like, oh, let's do the Back to the Future intro. But
Yeah.
It's me, your cousin, Marvin Berry.
exactly.
It's me, your cousin, the frog.
All right, let's move on to track number 8, One and Lonely.
To hurt me, watching TV, checking Britney televised. My guy's checking out her thighs, and I roll my eyes inside. It's not like I even need to be competing with unreality TV fantasy. Not for a smart girl like me. Some days it's hard to be a one-girl revolution. Sometimes I have good days.
One thing I love about Superchick is like and we've talked about this at length in our As Cities Burn miniseries, is when a band effectively references itself, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
this was my big
they-
point on this.
Yeah, that to their credit, they did the One Girl Revolution reference in this song. They also they straight up say Superchick, right? in a previous song. Like
Right.
that's
In
effective
One Girl Revolution, I think.
in One Girl Revolution, right? So it's got layers. That's kind of the only thing I liked about this song.
Interesting. This to me feels like the more honest sequel to One Girl Revolution
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
Me
truly.
Against the World.
True.
Yeah. Some
Like
days
the-
it is hard to be a one girl revolution.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
There's also the line, sometimes I get the best of insecurity, which is also a reference to One Girl
Yep.
Revolution. Yeah, and I feel like they
Confidence
did
and
kind of,
insecurity.
once again, I didn't love the rhyme structure in the verses. It feels really odd. Like, it feels like she's trying to, like
She's like tripping over the words.
like she has
kind
too
of.
many words, like trying to
Yeah.
get all of her ideas out, and it could have used a little bit of, like, condensing.
Yeah, to
But it was-
clarify, when I said I didn't like this song, I mean this version of the song. The last one picked version of this song, she nails it. She nails
Yeah.
the vocal,
Hmm.
in my opinion, and it works. Because I agree. I think
Well,
she's like
then-
stumbling over the.
So I wonder how much of that is it re-recorded vocals, or as someone that has like remixed songs, sometimes it is like pretty difficult to like beat match
yeah,
vocal
for sure.
performances, and then if you have a bunch of other stuff going on, you can kind of just like that's good enough, and then focus on other things, which I feel like
Right.
might have happened in this.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think they think it's funny and cool to have Patricia say like 1,000,000 syllables per second.
yeah,
I think they think it's cool.
It's a
They've done
bit.
it a couple times. They have her go so quickly sometimes.
Mhm.
Rapid.
Yeah.
The best. I wrote down that it is quite all right to be the one and only. But today I do feel like the one and lonely. Like, it really
Mhm.
ministered to me.
yeah.
I do feel that way.
That's the best like lyrical turn I think on this whole record.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly my kind of like, it's like on the verge of like a pun. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah,
it's
yes,
it's
yes, yes.
like right there, but like one and lonely is like so good. And I'm surprised more people, like, it feels like such a cliche for something that I haven't actually experienced in music a whole lot. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's a sentiment, and specifically a line I feel like I should have heard a lot more at this point.
Totally.
It's because you hear it in sermons, to my point many days ago in our part one.
That's
I do
true.
want to shout out, there's like, she's about to go on a riff, I think, about like, we all have these days, where it's like, I feel this way or that way. And she has no lunch because the jeans don't fit days.
I was gonna mention that.
Yeah. And like, I really get what they're going for here, which is like relatable to like the struggles of like being
Yep.
a young woman. But a quick PSA is that eating disorder is an instructive addiction. And that's
Yep.
why they had this whole pivot in like the past 5 years of how they treat it, because like hearing someone talk about their eating disorder struggles instructs someone else how to then
How to
get
do it,
further
right.
down the hole.
Right.
And so just by being like cool, hot, awesome rockers who say the words "no lunch because the jeans don't fit" days. Like
Yeah.
I was 13.
It sets a precedent, right?
I was 13 and heard like, wow, if you want to be like the main character when you have a hard day, you don't eat lunch because the jeans don't fit. Like you're
Yeah.
creating this concept of like what is so interesting about having a hard day. And I just wish that when they remixed it, they had thought a third time about it.
Right.
That'd
Yeah.
been
It's a
nice.
problematic line. Like, and I really appreciate you noting that, Janielle.
I
'Cause
also learned on the Barlow Girls when I went down their little rabbit hole is that there was a whole thing about one of them having an eating disorder and it getting very, very bad, and her feeling like God saved her at the brink, and that was part of her gospel and testimony. But what triggered her eating disorder was reading an article about girls having eating disorders. That was supposed to be
Wow.
like, isn't this an epidemic? And she was like, oh, is it? Maybe
Maybe
like,
I'll try it
the-
and find out.
The way the brain works is it's just like, I don't know, y'all have kids. Just don't say anything about that stuff ever.
Right, right.
It's my advice. Just between the two of us, just between us
Yep.
hens. Anyhow,
That's
it was a fun
Superchick.
song. I loved it. It
Oh,
was like
Superchick? Yeah.
speaking to me until that line, and I was like,
Till-
God damn it, Trisha.
Yeah.
Yep. No, thank you.
She does have writing credits on this song. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
you
is
can
her.
feel it, right?
yes,
Yeah.
you can tell.
It's
You
true.
can tell.
I would just literally not even talk about this song if it was written by Max.
Well,
Be like, nope, we're just writing this off. We're not talking about it.
yeah, I do feel like Max put his fingerprints on it in all the bells and whistles that he threw on. Again, like I'm
It's a lot
coming
of bells and
from
whistles.
it from the perspective of like hearing the original, knowing the original, having nostalgia for the original, and not liking all the extra.
I think
Like,
there's
the
too much in this
production
one.
Is better, like sonically, like the sound is better. The mix, the master is like, you hear the guitar, you hear the drums, you hear her vocals better, and yeah, all the extra like stuff that he threw in, I'm just like, no thanks, didn't need it. Liked it without it.
Y'all are musicians. How much of this do you think they had that Legally Blonde 2 money and they got a bunch of new instruments and like a new mixer and a new everything, and then they were like, let's use all of it, and Max was like,
100%.
yeah.
Oh,
Complete.
100%.
yeah.
That's
For
yeah.
sure.
Anytime I get a new instrument, I'm like, oh great, I'm just gonna re-record every song and use this.
Yeah, this is my entire
Like-
sound now.
Like
This
my
defines
wife
me.
just got a mandolin for her birthday, and I was like, oh cool, I play mandolin now. Every song I'm gonna write now is just written on a mandolin.
Not
Yeah.
even yours, man.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I don't have much to say on like this song, but I have like some overall things, 2 things that I want to talk about.
Wait,
The
on
big
this,
thing is-
or do you want to wait till the
just
end?
like, well, like I feel like it could fit here.
All
so we
right,
don't
do
have
it
to-
now. Do it
Go
now.
Do it now, if you don't mind. If you don't
Let
mind.
Josh
I don't
speak.
mind.
Yeah.
I know.
So like one thing, I know some Superchick songs, but I don't know a ton. So this was like the most I've ever listened to them. But I was like surprised, like most of anytime there's like a female vocalist, like they're, or like especially in like this kind of format, it's like they can like sing hardcore and they're like doing runs and stuff like that. And I feel like for the most part, like Trisha's vocal lines are like very just like kind of like middle of the road. She's not like showing off or doing
Yeah.
any like flair stuff. And there's not even like, there's only a few times that I can remember like doing harmonies like with herself, and like the vocals are not like a big thing. Like, is that like,
Right.
I don't know, that surprised me because I expected it to be like, oh, female vocalist, I'm gonna be all over the place.
Right.
It's like that's gonna be our sound, but it sounds like for guys, there's a lot of like bands that I listen to and love that's just like this guy can sing, so he
Can
does.
sing,
so
but
it's not
it's
like
not-
great.
right.
But I felt like this was the female equivalent. Like Trisha, she's not amazing. She can sing, but yeah, she's just like that's the level that she's at.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that is like a really interesting like flip of that, and it goes back to kind of what I was saying before on like the Barlow Girls song of like people not giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, yeah, that is interesting that there weren't more female bands that were just sort of doing the same thing that like every other dude band at this time was doing.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of reasons for that.
Yeah, I mean that's
So did
like,
her vocals broke the glass ceiling of allowing her to just be like middling, giving her the permission to just like
Well,
not
and that's
do
the
that
thing.
much?
I think she was actually
But that's
underutilized.
oddly
because she
empowering.
has some
I think she has
runs.
a beautiful voice.
Yes, exactly. Like I think she's highly talented, and like she just got sort of like Max was like, "All right, this is what I wrote." Here
Well,
you
yeah, it
go.
seems like the
Good
vocal
luck."
parts aren't conducive to like her getting to show off.
yeah, well,
is what I'm saying.
She's got
I really
power.
noticed that
Right.
in the live videos that I watched.
And she's a performer too. Like
Yeah, but I
amazing
feel
performer.
like, yeah, I would be curious to hear a Superchick in which she was given a little more sort of autonomy in terms of the songwriting process. Like you, Josh, I haven't listened to a ton of Superchick until this like week, and I've kind of done like a deep dive, and it seems very much like Max's project that she like sings on a lot, and I feel like
Yeah,
she's
what if
not
she's
really
shy?
given her due to like.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, what if she has no interest or like? It's just
Yeah,
not
I mean,
her-
and
If
that's
she's
that's
shy.
valid too. Like, and that's totally fine. I don't remember where I was going with this now. I don't know. I'm like super chicked out.
Are you feeling one and lonely, Kylie?
I am feeling
Are
one
you
and
super-
lonely.
checked out or super chicked out?
I'm super checked out. It's just
Well-
like my parenting style.
If you want to be my hero, you'll move to track 9.
I just checked out to go find Trish on Instagram
Oh yeah.
and see what she's up to.
Oh,
See if
yeah,
I
I
can kind
found
of
her.
infer
Yeah.
what her vibe is. And if she's still singing.
She had a solo record or something.
Yeah, she
not
did in
early
2011.
2000. Yeah. I think she's married to like a instrumentalist or producer, so that probably helps.
Is there salt and pepper hair involved?
Oh, let
Is
me
he
see
a
if her
dreamboat?
husband's hot.
Did he want a Valentine from her?
All
Or did he
right.
want a Valentine
So
from a Barlow
while
girl?
we get into that, let's move on to the last track, guys. We're here. Last track.
You're my hero, Kylan.
Hero, the Red Pill mix.
Oh,
know
I
what?
get it. It's a matrix. It's a.
Which has very different connotations in
I know, they
2023
really-
than
They
2003.
really can't be held responsible for that.
No,
that is,
no.
That was the
But that's-
incel's fault.
That's unfortunate.
Made when you make a choice. You could be a hero. Heroes do what's right. You could be a hero. You might save a life. You could be a hero. You could join the fight for what's right. For what's right. For what's right.
This was my other question, Kylan, is like, so as someone who's like done remixes and stuff like that, do the names of the remix, like, are they named that because of like certain styles that you're doing the remix in, or is it just a free for all? Like, I can just name it whatever I want, as like the Beatmar remix, the Red Pill remix, the Underdog remix, the what was it, the Space Monkey Lab mix? Like, does that speak to other remixers? Like, oh, that means he's going to be using these kinds of sounds or approach.
I don't think
or
so.
is it
To
just
me, it
completely made
seems
up?
like the fucking Wild West.
It's the
and
Wild West, man.
Just like
100%.
pun central. Like, okay, Josh, on my Winter Light Deluxe album, I have a remix of Father Son that I did when I was in Missoula, Montana. So it's called the Missoula Oblongata remix.
Which is great. It's
Because
so
why the
good.
fuck not? Like, why not? That's
it.
kind of the
That's
vibe of remixes
Okay.
in general.
I just wanted to make sure.
it's a lot
Like,
goofier than that.
It's
There's
just,
not
you
a
can
whole
you
lot
can
of
name it
thought.
whatever you want. It doesn't
Yeah.
tell other remixers, oh, he's doing this.
No one gives a shit,
Okay.
man.
Good question, Josh.
That is a good question.
Super Trish has a very cute dog. Husband's pretty cute, but
that her
she's
handle?
she's very beautiful, and so
yeah.
she's clearly the the hot one in the relationship, which
Right.
has its merits. There's pros to that too.
I would rather talk about her dog than the lyrical content of this song because
Okay.
Well,
I
Okay,
we're
would
gonna
like
have
to avoid it at
I
all
know you're
costs.
putting it off, but we're gonna do it.
I have something I need to confess to you all. We just
Okay.
passed the line. When she really paints the picture of like this girl who's like cutting and all this stuff. And then when she throws the pills out, a hero is made. I got a little choke in my throat.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's actually kind of beautiful to think like a hero can be saving themselves. I don't know, man.
Right.
I've been PMSing. It really
No.
got
Okay.
me.
That's
got me in
that's
the feels.
no, that's good writing. Like that is excellent writing.
I really felt that girl's story, you know?
I think that was the strongest verse in the song, to be honest.
Oh wait, oh my god. No. The choices he makes change a 9-year-old's life.
As a dad with 2 kids, that's the one that gets me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It feels a little like rote. Not that
Oh,
it's not
totally.
true. Not that it's not
Deeply
true. It's kind of
cliche.
both. It's like cliche, but also powerful.
soporific.
The verse
Just
about the girl, the second verse is like, to me, the most original, I guess I should say. That felt original and compelling. The like older brother thing is like, oh, well, anybody could have written this short story. Doesn't mean it's not compelling. It is compelling,
I had the opposite experience.
but it's
I was
kind
like,
of both.
in like the Degrassi era, like everyone pictures the girl who's cutting,
Right.
whatever, which is like important and like not to be made light of, but like that has like a sexy grotesqueness to it that was like all over every like teen
Oh, you
drama
think
at the time.
that's derivative?
A little bit. It still got me
Interesting.
because
Okay.
it doesn't matter. It still made me feel how I felt. But the idea of this like guy just like living his life, not realizing he's someone's hero, and like he has the power of this like much smaller creature's decisions
Maybe
in
it
his
feels
hands.
less original because I grew up as a white guy with privilege.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? So
You're
like,
the
I'm
guy
like,
who
of
didn't
course,
see.
that's me. Like I figured it out. I'm figuring it out every day. I will be figuring it out for the rest of my life. So like I've heard this. I know whatever. Like, and it's still compelling.
I will say when I was listening to this, I was like having the feeling of like, oh, I really do feel like this shaped me, like similar to like the post Columbine, whatever was the idea of like
Yep.
being actually just like nice to people and like you don't know what people are going through like privately, whatever.
Right.
Definitely got into my psyche and made me like really want to be kind to people, which is nice.
Yeah.
Also made me incredibly codependent. and feeling like
yeah.
other people's choices were my
Just
fault
checking
because
in, checking in.
13 reasons why if I had just said something, they wouldn't have, killed themselves,
Right.
etc., which is like also
Right.
really a damaging thing. So just like,
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure to
these-
put on a teenager.
Yeah,
Developing teenager, yeah.
these
Also-
concepts go both ways.
Interesting that like they chose to lead with the Columbine like concept
Yeah.
and then do the like Degrassi girl and then do the older brother thing. Like
You think they should have
if-
started like smaller to bigger to bigger?
Correct.
kind
Oh,
of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's always like felt weird to me. But like I guess they were just like
They wanted to hook you on that first
Heavy-handing.
verse. Yeah.
Yeah.
they're like this
Yeah.
is what this song's about,
Like,
guys.
we might
by
only
the
have
way."
one verse that they listen to. We got to grab them with this one.
Yep. Yeah, true. And then KJ52 shows up again.
I don't even know who this is.
I don't know. It might
Dude,
not.
I
be.
didn't look it up. It's not KJ52.
I'd like them to remix the hero, this hero song every few years, kind of like We Didn't Start the Fire, like a new topical thing. For
so
like
depressing.
a
Yeah,
new way you
except
could
that
be a
in
hero.
2023, the first verse can all stay the fucking
That's
same.
true.
Like-
The school shooting. Yeah.
God. Yep.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
The second would be cyberbullying, like a
Mhm.
girl's getting DMs and stuff.
For sure.
And like if you said a kind word, whatever.
Yeah, some kind of like backdoor pilot for Be Real.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is like gives me like Youth of a Nation vibes where I'm like, yeah, I feel like this like is important like subject matter and stuff like that, but it doesn't make it a song I want to listen to because it's not like a fun listen. You're like, oh,
No.
like these are heavy things. Like I don't want to like,
Yep.
oh, let me listen to this song again. Like,
Right. Well, so that especially like brings me to like who is this song for? Right? Because you
Impressionable
have,
teenagers?
like- but the thing is, like, as a teenager, is this something you like wanted to listen to? Because
No, but
like,
you were deeply, deeply convicted. I was. The original version
Yeah.
of this song was like very, very emotionally gripping for me.
yeah, I guess it just bums me out because it just feels manipulative.
Oh no, of course.
Like-
When you're a teenager, you don't realize what's manipulating you.
Oh, but like everything was then. I remember my friends were obsessed
Yes.
with that song, like Concrete Angel, the country song about like the little girl who's abused and just like
Yeah.
every
Oh,
verse.
yeah.
And at the end, you figure out she's dead. Like just that, like everything was, it was Degrassi. Like everything was like,
But
but
you
you don't
just
really
say-
know what's going on inside me though.
Yeah. And you just say, that's powerful. Or like, oh, like, I felt it. Like you don't say it's manipulating me. I didn't.
Yeah. But you are opening my third eye, Kylan, which is like, was this song written for like the parents to be like, see, this is a good album. If your kids listen to this, they'll be good kids.
I completely
But
agree.
yeah, I mean, because like as a teenager, I just wanted to listen to stuff that was like, oh, this person is like I don't know. I was just more emo, I guess, and like I just related more to like Dashboard of like this
This
girl
is
doesn't
emo.
like me, and then this is like I didn't pay attention to I don't know, maybe because I was like the bullied kid and I didn't like, I don't know, I didn't come to school with a gun. I just like, I think this is a privilege thing for sure. This is a
There
privileged
weren't a
perspective.
lot of kids at your school.
Like there were a ton of kids in my school, but
Oh, I thought you were homeschooled. That's what I was making.
well,
it
I was
Yeah, that was
homeschooled
a
well,
homeschool
until
bit.
high school. Until high school.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't show up. Jesus Christ.
Just
I got it.
I'm
I got it.
super chicked out, y'all.
Kellen has a complicated and storied past.
I do indeed. Yeah, I don't know. I had never heard this song before. And so I would probably feel different if I had heard it as a younger man, but I just hated it.
Completely, of course. No, it's bad. It's bad.
Okay.
And especially as the album closer, even for a remix album. Like,
Yeah.
how in the world is this their closer? Like, I get it, but it's also like frustrating. I'm like, it's so heavy-handed and just like,
Oh yeah,
Could
they
you-
should have done One and Lonely.
yeah.
That
Or
would've been
some
a nice
kind of
little-
palate cleanser, something lighter, or
definitely Punches and
introspective.
Frogs. Can you imagine that was the closer?
And be slightly more tone deaf.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, guess what? We did it.
What?
What?
We
Who
did
knew?
it.
Who knew that the Superchick episode would be like one of
I was
our
thinking
more
we were gonna fly through this.
Me,
Yeah,
I knew.
one of our
I actually knew. Like I'm
bigger, more
TJ's
profound.
on my level.
not. I'm on the level, man. I saw how insane this was gonna be.
Yeah,
But I'm here for it. It's cool.
I was here for it too, man. I've loved this entire conversation.
Oh, Danielle. Thank
So
Danielle brought the
Thank you
thing.
guys. Thank
Yeah,
you guys for
you
giving me a
brought-
space to really talk about a lot of feelings I've needed to share
Thank
For
you for
for
sure.
about 20
sure.
years.
Like I said, this is what the podcast is for. It's just all about revisiting these albums for better or for worse, and whatever comes out of that. So,
Yep.
guys, we need to know our final flop or bop verdicts.
Mhm.
Rather, I don't know what order we want to do this in. You guys already know mine. This is with the exception of Hero. This is a Stone Cold bop. I'm gonna listen. This is the perfect album for me to in the spring when it's sunny out. Open all my windows and just put this on in the background. This is like the perfect. Like I will mop the fuck out of my kitchen listening to this record. Like
My only.
Uh,
Never mind.
what? Well, no, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, is Willow around?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to contextualize the hell out of this whole album for her.
No, I won't because she's just like me. She's a vibe guy. She's too. She doesn't care what any words are. She's just like, oh, this has a good
formative
beat.
humans
I'm here for
absorb
it.
information. She's going to absorb information.
Well, you don't know that.
Of
You don't
sweet,
know
sweet
what
bass.
information she. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. You're right. Sorry. Spoke
I mean,
out of
if she
turn.
was like 7, that would be different. But she's like 2.5. So.
Well, yeah, you didn't
like-
say when you were mopping the floor. I thought you were mopping the floor when she
in
was
the
7.
springtime.
Oh yeah,
spring,
the
when
spring.
she's
It's
7.
not Game of Thrones. It's not Winterfell. Like spring is coming like in 3 weeks.
Got
Like-
it. Okay, cool.
All right, so it's a bop for me.
It's a
Who's
mop
next?
bop.
Who's
A
next?
mop
Got
bop.
it.
I love
A
that.
mop bop.
That's beautiful.
It's a bop for me.
Oh, there you go, Janielle. It's a
All
bop.
right.
It's a bop. It was a gift. It gave me it gave me back a friend, which was my inner child, a part of me I hadn't hung out with in a while, and it
Yeah.
gave her back to me, and I was like, boy,
You were
boy, is there a
jumping-
lot you don't know.
You were jumping on
about
the
the world.
Tempur-Pedic mattress again.
I was just not completely unproblematically, not an ounce of awareness of what was complicated about the water I was swimming in. But that's still nice too. I don't know. When you're raised the way we were raised, you have this like choice to like decide how you feel about stuff. And I'm at the point where I've healed from a lot. I've figured out how I feel about a lot, and that's left me with the freedom to then go back in and grab like nice little morsels of like things that were beautiful and true and good that I want to hold on to and that I'm okay liking and okay enjoying.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna count on the whole this album as one of those things.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
I love
No,
it.
I love
I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
Isa bop.
Amazing.
2 bops. All right, who's next?
Wow,
Josh, you
dang.
want to go?
I want to go. I want to
Okay.
go because
Go for it.
because TJ has a lot of history with Superchick. All right, guys. So I went in saying I was gonna flop this because I'm not big on remix records. I liked that it wasn't like a true to fashion remix. It was more just like a regeneration.
It wasn't all
if
like
you will.
dance mixes.
Yeah, because
Right.
I'm not for that kind of stuff. And it looks like they did more of this in their career and stuff like that. So I was really impressed that their previous record came out in 2002, and like the sonic step up from that, like this was only in a year of October 2002 to October 2003. Like you said, it's that Legally Blonde money coming in, where like sonically and producer wise, like production wise, like it's way better than anything they'd done previously. So I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected to. I still think I'll give it a flop because it's not something I'm probably going to throw on. But my caveat, I try to always give like a positive caveat to it. It's like I did enjoy like kind of like what you were talking about, Janielle, like just because of those early 2000s vibes were like are still inherent in that. Like I did enjoy like kind of like getting taken back to that time and be like, oh yeah, remember when this was like, and you can like picture that screenshot that Kylan had of Kevin Max in the mid 2000s. Like it takes you back to that time and like, and remembering like the good things about it for me at least. Like, oh yeah, that was fun. Or like I remember like watching movies that this song like could have also been
Every
in
song
kinda
had
thing.
record scratches.
Yeah, I love
it's a
that,
simpler
man.
time.
I was way into that, so I enjoyed stuff
Every
like that,
band
so-
had a white DJ.
Yes. Oh yeah. No. So the Linkin Park vibes, I was like, I loved Linkin Park in middle school, and like I kind of like resonated with that a little bit still. So yeah, I'll flop it, but still an enjoyable listen.
Okay.
I respect
TJ, what
that
about you,
answer.
buddy?
So I share a lot of the sentiments that y'all have shared so far. My answer is going to be a tiered answer because y'all know I love to take exception with the form that you try to box me into.
Yeah, the whole point of the show.
The form that y'all created
Yeah.
and
I
chose
never
to
said I
build
was
the show
stoked about
around.
it. I did it.
I thought you meant tiered, like with like a tear streaming down your eye.
You're not
I
wrong
thought-
about that. You're not wrong
Okay.
about that either.
Tiered.
Yeah, it's kind of both. So I'm gonna bop the production of this album. I bop specifically the production of this album. I'm going to flop the arrangement of this album, and
Okay.
I'm going to bop referentially Karaoke Superstars, the original album
Oh
from
my God.
Superchick that is the quintessential and objectively best Superchick album that exists. So
Can we go out on the song Karaoke Superstar?
with that, see, that's the whole thing, man. The songs were better.
Okay. So TJ, but so that's two bops and a flop because the only
Yep.
reason I'm sticking on this is that Josh is going to come back to us at the end of the year.
This
Oh,
is gonna
I'm
throw off
aware.
my
Like,
data.
And I'll
okay,
be
where
We're
ready
did
doing
you
it just
fall
to
on this?
screw up my data.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that
You're-
matter that much? Like,
Wow.
Of
I'm trying to
course.
answer authentically about how I feel about this album.
I
gave
need
you-
ones and zeros, TJ. It's a
Sorry.
spreadsheet.
Have you met Josh?
I don't know, man. That's what I got.
Dang.
I'm two
This will
bops
be
and a
something
flop
we revisit
on
on the
one album.
2023 wrap up.
Oh, I'm
Yep.
sure we will.
Yeah.
I'll be so cranky.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, but that's that's how the show goes. So
Right.
we did it, guys. This has been a really long episode, so we're gonna start wrapping it up. Janielle, what do you want to tell people about yourself? Where people can find? I know we did this in the first part, but we like to do it
Yeah.
again at the end because
Why not?
You can find me on Untitled Dad Project, which is a piece that I made that I'm incredibly proud of. And on Podcast World, I'm working on a podcast right now about evangelicalism and American culture and the intersections in surprising ways. So at the very beginning stages of that. So knowing me, check back in a few years and I'll have that one up.
I can't wait.
It's going to require a lot of research. That's it. Those are the things. Yeah, those are the things.
Amazing.
Go find me there.
hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I did not anticipate a conversation about Superchick to get as varied and layered as it did, and I'm fucking here for it. For all of our listeners, yeah, check us out. We have more bonus content on patreon.com/churchjamesnow podcast. Follow us on all the social medias at Church James Now, blah, blah, blah. May all your favorite bands stay together. And of course, peace out, Monfreres.